man. This is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh!
Go on myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. Gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come with cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and feel so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon.
Frozen over like I am. Well, I know you know that life gets colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
Play.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many drinks got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're gone. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to.
Play.
Welcome everyone, it's NECC time. Thursday brings you Rocket League and we bring you the hype. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside one of the greatest faces and experiences that you'll ever have in the esports space, or maybe any space at all, maybe even in deep space. It is Tugboat as we come at you live and loud. It is week 1 esports action, collegiate coming back online here. Tugboat, is so great to be able to see you, my man. And we got some Rocket League and a great triple-headed hydra of competition tonight.
Oh yes, oh yes. Week 1 here for the NECC does continue now. Does continue today. Continues today. That'd probably be the accurate way to say that one, Monkey Man. We got
Yeah.
Overwatch tomorrow. We got a lot of esports all the way through NECC. We don't have enough time to talk about all the stuff that NECC is doing esports wise. We got Rocket League right now. That's what I know. You mentioned the trio here. We got a healthy dose. Oklahoma Christian University taking on a little team named Davenport Red here, Monkey Man.
Yeah, this is going to be our first one coming up at you as the Eagles, the former, I guess it was just last in the fall, the D2 champions coming out of the Central Conference Division. They were able to take down Kennesaw, that's Chile, G-Man, and North. They did that in a massive way, but it was Davenport University Red a little bit short of that same step there, Tugboat. They came runners up, Bira, Para, Tater. This is a team that's trying to keep up with their bigger, badder Panther brothers of that black form of Davenport that has been in the majors kind of CRL conversations since that last semester. What a matchup of D2 now elevating into a Division 1 concept. They've really got to show it here for this first match of the season.
Folks, you are literally staring down the barrel of NECC esports success, right? Moving up in divisions, you don't get much higher than Division 1, my friend. That's where these teams find themselves at, and that is off the back of fantastic postseason performance last year, or last semester, excuse me. I guess that's last year as well, right? It's 2025.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, they able to find it. You know, everyone always is like, man, I haven't seen you since last year. For you and me, that's actually true. So yeah,
That's true, yeah.
And for these teams, they had different moments how they had to climb. Both of them had to go through the lower bracket. One a little bit sooner than the other, as the Panthers had to take on the would-be eventual winners of that D2 overall bracket, and then OC Esports, who had to kind of overcome a bird fight against Kennesaw. Well, we go into game number 1. It's Eagles, it's Panthers, it's a best of 7. It's the start of this spring season.
Absolutely. Tater's going to take this off a kickoff and then turn this one into a demo. Talk about transitioning a little bit of neutral play and some aggression. Nothing comes of this demo here and early. As you said, this best of 7 does start.
Yeah, best of 7 time. So the first couple of games, I'll always mention, they mean both everything and nothing. It's a great tone setter, but it's a trend setter. What a save. G-Man comes through. A soft double commit, as you did have an extra effort there by North. They go deep into the basket, and they come out with some eggs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ooh. Fantastic stuff. Eagles laying some eggs of their own, turning this egg into a breadstick, in fact, right? A 0 into a 1 as G-Man slots this perfectly right outside. Byra gets nothing more than a front row seat to that first score.
That was a wonderful transition. North had the initial touch-up just to be able to get it at least skyward, and then G-Man showing exactly why they have been an MVP on this roster since that previous iteration. So OC Esports comes through. Eagles are going to have to receive, and they don't want to have to be forced into constant counterplay situations, but apparently they're navigating them pretty well.
Navigate them real well, and up the second. Just less than 60 seconds here, Monkey Man. And G-Man's going to be the one to put up the second strike on this board.
There was a demo into that backline. Not sure who the third man was, but they did not exist. And that's the kind of volatility and violence that can be brought by the Eagles. Don't get pecked too quick. Otherwise, you may just be down in the pecking order. G-Man is absolutely showing up and showing out all this squad so far in this first game. It's about who's ready first here, Tugboat, and apparently OC Esports was definitely chipping to get into this game.
Yeah, it's happening in Oklahoma as of right now. This Michigan squad, Davenport University Red, they just haven't even really possessed this ball for very long. That was the longest this ball has sat in the blue half of this pitch thus far. Offense now starting again for the Eagles.
They can get another one already threatening the hat trick as G-Man, but eventually they do put someone behind it. Biro is hoping to maybe get one extra as Chili, who has been somewhat quiet to start things off, but how could you be louder than G-Man, who makes this catch? They will guide it through. I think North comes out the better, but the first 100 seconds elapse and it's a 3-0.
G-Man gets final hit. This actually doesn't need to be, this doesn't need to be cradled on any farther right there. North putting up the, hey, I was just making sure it was going, I was just making sure it was going in. I was not stealing the goal, Monkey Man. It's a very important distinction.
Just an extra effort, you know, it's securing the package. Oh, either way, the Eagles end up in a 3-0 position, and Davenport They under duress, under fire, not just from some of these shots, but from some great demos. It was actually G-Man who did clear the final person into that back third zone on that previous play. So as we go for now more than 2 minutes into game number 1, we need to see some level of consistency here out of Davenport. And like you mentioned, we need to see them be able to possess the ball.
Yeah, I mean, possession turns into scores so frequently. This is D1, baby. Like, you're just not going to find those random errant balls finding their ways into net on random trajectories, Monkey Man. Goals coming at a premium here in D1, not going to happen easily. It's got to have to be, like, kind of matriculated through time and space for any of these to come up here.
Trying to lay it up into kind of that soft zone between a couple players. I see what Davenport, the Panthers, are trying to kind of get going. They want to be able to find a mistake. They're not going to force it out of the Eagles just by kind of lobbing it. They're going to be looking for a hard level strike, maybe a double touch. Para does not come away with a downward strike. They were 2 level after using up all their boost, and so that effort ends up finding the Eagles in a counter play, and Chile will think better of it. He's going to back off.
A back off was really just waiting and lurking in the wings. This is an errant ball off to the left side, and maybe with a little bit more boost, Chile would have been able to get more than a demo right here. North having to pick it up, but the defense does get constructed. Yeah, that's a brick wall that gets erected very, very quickly, and there's just nothing really. There were immediate opportunities about 10 seconds ago, Monkey Man. Those are died on the vine.
Yeah, they have completely evaporated. This is an oasis in the desert, and then it's quickly just gone. Sun came up, and now it's sunset, at least for those latter 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So we've got the last 80 here for Davenport. First game, it's a wake-up call. This is the start of your season. If you're going to be making a deep Division I run against some of the best that we got to see all of the previous semester, you really have to prove it. That's going to be another save. That one comes through. G-Man just not going to be denied.
Yeah, so G-Man showing up. First half of this game was all offense all the time. Basically a hat trick, right? North gets the credit for it, for making sure, securing the goal again, Monkey Man. But at the end of the day, essentially a hat trick there for G-Man. Shows up on the defensive side of the ball. A well-rounded squad member is exactly what I want to see. Game 2, idealist situation here for OC, given that we're at 30 seconds, and a comeback at this point would be a truly Herculean effort. Ideal situation for OC Esports, for the Eagles here, Monkey Man, is going to consist of a more well-rounded offensive opportunities, right? Take these 3 goals and sparse them as evenly as you can for these Eagles instead of more centralizing on one player.
And you're gonna see one at least picked up by the Panthers, and yeah, I understand kind of what you're getting to, because Eagles, they definitely at least put it on the tip of the nose of G-Man a lot more often. Yep. This is at least a consolation gift going with Davenport. They've been poking and prodding. It's not an unrealistic, ESPN probability chart for there to possibly be a comeback, but you got to get the Panthers scoring much more swiftly, and so far every time they brought it to the midfield line, there's been someone to challenge them, and the Eagles look like they're ready to put this one away.
Yeah, at getting at 30 seconds, like, all right, this is very, very unlikely, right? Getting one though and turning into 16 seconds is like, okay, like 2 kickoff plays away. And if that had happened 10 seconds earlier, I think we can continue the conversation, my friend Monkey Man. As it is, OC Esports, these Eagles dominated game 1 for the first, we'll call it 3/4 of the game or so. Davenport gets a couple garbage time and make this look a lot more even than the final score really was.
Yeah, if you look back on this this overall scoreboard, you'll be like, "Oh, hey, that one was pretty close. This has been, this has been a barn burner, right?" Well, let's talk about this tail of the tape right now. 6 shots, 5 of them by G-Man. A lot of off-ball play that we got from both G-Man as well as North and Chile. Just kind of soft rotating, taking for what they can. Davenport, I think, like you mentioned, they got a lot of extra kind of late-term offensive, and you got to wonder how much of that was really able to be multiplied because OC started to really loosen up. Some of that discipline dropping off from the early part of that game. They'd done the damage already with a 3-0 to kick things off. So now as they go to game number 2, there's no excuse that you aren't ready anymore.
This is very true. This is very true. The first interaction between these 2 teams, especially week 1, beginning of the semester, is done for. Now we really need to sink into the meat of this best of 7. Before we do, however, Want to give a huge shout out to our producer on the day, Chippy. Yes, our production staff. Huge shout out to them. Monkey Man and I are just two dashingly good-looking sons of guns without our production staff, right? That's all we're doing. We're just screaming about esports without our production staff. Very much appreciate our production staff here on the day. Again, that's Chippy making it possible. A big shout out to Hinsel Farms as well as G Fuel, right? G Fuel, you can use the code BAM right up there, NECC20, and there you go, Winzel's Farms. I gotta say, Monkey Man, have some of the best marketing in esports that I've seen so far. I'm sure you've seen some of the commercials.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of them. I don't know where. Obviously, those are probably the owners. Those are probably the guys that own and run and operate Wenzel's. But to have that much charisma as well as good product, that's something special. Well, game number 2, the same thing has to be said if you're going to exist and persist through Division 1. Gotta have a good product. It's gonna be seen on the pitch. Panthers, they aim to press, and this is very similar to the way they started that first game.
Yes, it is. Chili playing the bodyguard. Sorry, my friend, your time here is done. Takes them out. As the offensive drive comes in, G-Man gets absolutely escorted all the way through. Dude, Air Force One doesn't have protection like that.
No, that's, you know what? If Air Force One on the ground, I would hire Chili anytime to be my wingman. Just, wow, okay. And that's, again, I had said it looked similar. It was actually the Panthers that started off with a lot more offense to really pin back the Eagles in that previous game. This time around, it was one counterplay, and it's the same kind of physical kind of motions that gave them all that space. OC trying to contain the Panthers, and the Panthers looking for a way to escape.
The thing is, Monkey Man, once you get to these higher levels, what you look for as a commentator is frequently how, like, teams execute plays, right? Not just, like, constantly drawing things up and kind of reacting to how they go, but drawing them up off of kickoff right there, and you can basically see the X's and O's from OC on that initial kickoff and their initial score earlier, like, coming through the air, right? As it is, this is more reactionary Rocket League, but that's the kind of stuff that I love to see for a team that has gone forth and proven themselves to be worthy of that Division 1 title. We have the same exact gameplay going the other way. That's almost was.
But they made a snap decision a lot faster. It was Para that was trying to bear down upon the goalie in that moment. And being unable to do so effectively, but it was because that third man decided to get through just a lot faster. So showing them how to do it if you want to escape. It's another 2-man rush. Can't line them up the same parallel every single time. And we're looking at a lot of redirects happening for Davenport. They're trying to catch the Eagles out of position, but they just aren't yet.
We'll see how that positioning improves here. Davenport with some offensive opportunities that they just found lacking earlier. Nice block right there. Tater should be able to cover this one up. That's almost gifted on over to G-Man. Barely got there in time. G-Man from the top, almost off the rebound, off the backboard right there, Monkey Man. Always thinking about where the ball is going to be, and not where it's at that time. That is the OC Esports Eagle squad right now.
That is such a negative angle to have to go and play. They might have been able to pick the pocket. Chili turns around, heads up play, recognizing that even though they wanted some boost, go for small, maybe even for that corner, they needed to be there and rotate right back. So that one gets snuffed out. Even when Davenport had one of the better opportunities, this one will go aside. They're trying for the 1-2 combo. They've had 3 separate times here, Tugboat, where they've been able to connect, but every time it's a bit longer, bit telegraphed, and even when it's faster, the Eagles are matching them foot and step for step.
Absolutely, all the way through the entire mile, because that's what it takes right now. It seems to just get a single goal. Wow, what a pass, and north goes south. Davenport gets scored on again right here as the insurance goal doth get purchased. That's about as perfect as it gets. North uses the last tiny little bit of boost right there to get a real good angle. 2 minutes, 2 scores in this game 2.
Chili's been such a great utility player. Last game, it looked like they were just kind of letting G-Man run amok and seeing what they could do kind of across the pitch, just effectively allow them to go and take those shots. Remember, they had 5 out of those 6. That's going to be a bank angle. Tater gets 1. And while I'm singing Chili's praises, Tater's trying to get involved. That's a great handoff. Bira just kind of lets Tater go for the shot.
Yeah, seriously. Fantastic stuff. This goes to the inside pull and angles in. If this shot was any slower, it gets blocked. If it was farther to the inside, it easily gets blocked. Farther to the outside, gets hit by the wall, and is nothing more than another rebound in the ether. 2-1 lead as of right now, Davenport, and that was, I believe that was Tater's. It was Tater with the goal, and that was Tater's 5th shot, right?
Yeah, it was stayed over the goal. Bira, I think, was the one that the initial
up, yeah.
pass came over from Para. So this ended up being kind of a 1-2-3 concept overall. That's going to be a high-hanging floater. They're trying to body the back linesman as he just rotated into the net. 80 seconds again. We were at the same position last time, and it was much more kind of in hand as to who was in the lead. And now this is all of a single goal. Davenport's made it frisky for the moment. And look out in the deep north is they're going to play it a little safer as they just try to rotate that second level.
Yeah, the difference in wow, G-Man, a Herculean effort. That's what I said earlier. And there's going to be it on display. 60 seconds to go. That was about as close to a tie game as I've seen. Okay.
It came up very close. They had actually a great just 1-2 that was being punched through. They might be able to do the same thing here. It comes off late. They don't have any boost in Tater. He's that's going to contain this. They go for the whip shot. Able to get a power flick. G-Man is stuck to the backboard. They're pre-jumping ghosts. Seeing if they can find him. And Bira gets it across the goal line. Now, this is the closest we've seen to a tie, because it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think all three members pre-jump at this. You see the last one right there had plenty of boost to work with as well. So, I mean, it's easy to say here, right, from you know, bird's eye, commentator's booth, yada yada, that he should have came back, that they should have came back and kind of played a little bit farther back, given that they had the opportunity to go up in the air, given that they had boost. But these are split-second decisions made by players way better than I. So, far be it I to criticize, right?
Right, I mean, but they also were doing the same thing you do whenever you just know you mechanically are inclined. Okay, if someone's taking this shot, it's here. But they took that little step back. It's what made Dwayne Wade good and made me always frustrated when he was with the Heat. Making sure to just give that space and not let them know what your next step is going to be. G-Man, final possession. They're going to get challenged. Chili with a chance. It will be on the ground. Ooh. We go OT in game 2.
Hey, maybe the 3-2 score line was not so deceitful in game numero uno. To game 2 game 2 overtime, excuse me, we go, and it'll be another 3-2. Which way now? That is the question.
A little bit more sketchy than the last, as it seems all but assured in game number 1. Game 2 has been a separate conversation. Davenport does not want to go down 0-2 to begin this series. Makes it very difficult to have to work through that game 3 without some level of leniency. Chile looking for an outlet over to north, and now they're looking for the G-Man. G-Man had taken a step forward. And there was actually a chance by the Panthers maybe to begin pressing. They're giving North some space, and Bira gets completely moon shoes as he just goes bouncing by.
We'll see if this bounce is a good one. No, 51 right here, but North, but that's the wrong way. They're forced to come all the way back as they were already assuming an offensive position. G-Man from the top. Oh my goodness, another G-Man production.
It is always a G-Man production. Chili involved in every single goal, be it a demo or this pass, but G-Man looking for the soft tire touch, slots it top 90, and the Eagles are soaring right now. They find a new way to score every single time.
Yes, sir. This is a squad that has earned in every way, shape, and form their position within D1. My goodness, look at these numbers. I wanted well-rounded numbers. And I see esports have about 3 shots, 3 shots, and 3 shots. Speaking of shots, though, my goodness, Tater has almost that many themselves.
Yeah, Tater was definitely kind of that second to third man point position, as they had traded from both Para trying to be really bullying, as well as Bira, who kind of lined up a few of those. So I'm not surprised that Tater ended up kind of, all right, after efforts are diffused, what's left but to take that opportunity, see what the offense can hit. But to see 8 out of the 11, that's kind of an overt statement, whereas, you know, you asked for a balanced breakfast, and apparently they gave you every single nutrient you needed to start your day from the side of OC.
Hey, there you go. Really, the tools with which to succeed have been provided. They've gone forth and put forward some fantastic numbers. 3-2 in both of those. The first one not nearly as competitive, right? No scores for through the first like 4 minutes or so, and then that second score, right, to bring it within 1, came at the very, very last second. So again, maybe not as indicative as far as the competition there. Game 2 is anything but that. A close one all the way through that just goes down to the mechanical genius, honestly, of G-Man. Davenport Red is playing their hearts out right now. That's just that tiny extra 1% that's shining through is the difference right now.
Need to see demon time out of the Panthers. They've shown us that they can go the distance and at least be in some way, shape, or form, a statistical anomaly, or at least near what has been the winning factor, and that's OC. But I need to see if they can score first. They always have a punctuated early offensive in the first 30 seconds or so, but it's the Eagles that come out big. What a save here by Bira. Chili's hoping to lay it up. Hope we go through the first 30.
Maybe a little bit of miscommunication right there as far as to who is actually going to come up. If Davenport takes a goal on this, that's going to be off the back of one of the worst, like, clear-cut communication mistakes, right? Both of them kind of going up for it, one of them having to turn at the very last second, and the one who's actually hitting, you know, changing trajectory just to be able to make a play onto the ball and then give over possession. As it is, back to another OC Sports offense, and a fantastic block there from Paris staying up in the air.
Yeah, that was a slapper. They were from the backboard, and now this is going to come from backboard, or rather sidewall as well. The undercut loft. Chili hoping to give it back to G-Man a little bit lower. They couldn't do it, so they have to bring it back over to North, who's all on the ground. No boost for the Eagles to really start kind of pushing and punctuating back to this net. They're hoping that Para does miss, and Chili is able to snag that corner boost just as a spawn. So that will make Davenport a bit lopsided on this right side of the pitch. Chili has to wait, and they will slap that one down again, this time at their own goal line.
I gotta say, a lot of the clears have been just this. If they're not even like on point and forcing the hand of a defender, like they may not be super fast, but if that trajectory is true, a defender has got to get in there, interrupt that to not allow like a cross pitch goal. When you're forcing the hands of defenders and forcing them to make plays on balls they might not have otherwise done so, and then burning up the one true resource in Rocket League, which is of course boost. Now you're talking about a winning recipe.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a lot more macro game. They're thinking for the kind of the big rotational picture. Where does that last zone end up? Who's already there? Can I effectively move forward with a chance to kind of get around them and maybe make use of that? That ends up being kind of boomer ball at times if you're not there to take advantage of what your first touch was. Chili's going to back off. G-Man gets dunked. North is going to try and bring this to the backboard. They do. Panthers have been slowly gaining ground, moving these guys back, and Tater is backing it up into Chili. That's a different way to dance.
Hey, again, if you force hands, how about if you take hold of both hands and say, hey, how about you don't move for a couple of seconds? If you're doing that against a goalie, sometimes it can ring true. Unfortunately, team didn't have possession, so it was really just kind of tying this up and between the two teams and making a 2v2 for a couple of seconds.
This is the one game so far that we've had be this close going into the latter 2 minutes. We have not had a scoreless venture as of yet. So as we've already kind of broached and breached into overtime once before, North wants a different conversation, wants to find something, and that's a nice reaction off of this jumper.
This seemed just like another day at the office right here. So Chili puts it, okay, that's what it was. Chili puts it up and North puts the last little tipper onto that one. Just a tiny little cornering play, but this changes the trajectory just enough. Just under 2 minutes, Monkey Man, right? They're always going to have a score within 3 minutes. What are you talking about?
We're going to have another 3-2. They get some bonus points to make sure that we have only 3-2s across the entirety of this series. 145, story still being elaborated, still being defined and designed. G-Man is there to receive a great sweeper across that midline, and now Panthers are facing their net. If you're ever behind, well, it's going to feel even worse when you have to defend and suddenly you're facing your own wall.
$118. Sorry about that. There was a little bit of tech issues on my end right there. 118, 113 here is trying to come off the wall. North puts it down into Para. Para and the rest of Davenport should be running out for this one. As put it up center, nothing happening from North.
See if they can just hold on for another minute of time. Eagles have seen their thin leads taken away before. Tater is telling them, go for it, man. Dunk, shot, Para. Write him a paragraph about it. We are still all at ones. Oh my goodness. Look at the extra effort on this outside shot. He said, Tater says, don't congratulate him.
He rizzed. It's fantastic. I hope you guys can see that one as well. 50 seconds left into this one. Power gets the save. North, the shot attempt. Bouncing ball right here, and OC does not come out on top of this one. They wanted to maintain possession, and I mean, having possession on their own side, well, that quickly flips to the other side. How about that? Para coming down, still flirting with the middle. Are we looking at another one? No, no overtime, at least as of right now, outside of the efforts by Davenport.
And the only way that we see this one go extra is if we threaten the idea of a 3-2. G-Man was already jumped up. They had a pre-jumping defender to just kind of stay in the way of the Eagles. And even so, they had thought one layer deeper into this defensive onion. Can they measure themselves at least forward to try and take on the Eagles for some bonus time? Beer takes one. It's going to be a late jump by Para. Para's asking for so much assistance. They're just trying to keep their car in behind the ball. 10 seconds to go. If they get to overtime, it's going to be through a massive effort. Tater will possess. He's going to bring it down, but it's sniffed out by North. Para, a shot. The defense comes through. G-Man and Chili and North will make this into a 3-0 as they try to hand it off one more time. Don't need even any extra. OC Esports. We're on match point.
Yes, we are. Just like that, OC, Oklahoma Christian University, turns 1 into 2 and 2 into 3. We're basically spinning gold from straw right here. Taking a look at the numbers. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? 8 total shots here for OC Esports, only looking at 5 for the other side. In fact, this will be the first time that Davenport Red does not outshoot, for attempts at least, OC Esports.
That's kind of a wild performance if you're really thinking about it across the last few games. That means that we've seen a lot more quantity versus the substance of quality that OC has played with. And we mentioned that a few times at least because it feels like their counterattack play, they're just letting Davenport kind of chuck rocks at the wall. Luckily, their house is not made of glass. Apparently, it's made of tungsten and it's unmoving and unyielding, and you can get your finger caught in it and you might even have to lose it depending on if it gets stuck. But for the Eagles, they've been looking really decent. They did have that late term draw, but otherwise, Panthers feels like there's still a lot that they have to redesign here, especially now that they have to reverse sweep an entire best of 7.
Yeah, this will be brutal. Hey, OC Esports takes this, then we'll have like a 20-minute break here, folks. If Davenport Red is going to do it, we're going to be looking all the way to the end of the hour, which I'm 100% here for. For the side of Davenport Red, I'll say, this is where championship teams are made out of, right? You can make them in week 1, sure. Let's see if that is what this squad is made out of, and if they are able to come back here. I mean, 4 games in a row is tough. See if they can do it.
Davenport University Red. They've got another squad that's called University Black, so they know that they got to kind of really live up to a pedigree. Everyone talks about them, but they want to be the Panthers that are spoken of. And if you're going to get anyone to have a conversation about you in week number 1 when you're down 0-3, it's reverse sweeping. It's going to be the only way. Otherwise, it's going to be afterthoughts, and it's going to be going to the war room and trying to look at VOD review. Tater sets it up. They'll knock it down. They outpace the defense, and for the first time this series, they start with a lead.
Nicely done. Nicely done. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Davenport University here striking first. We were asking ourselves, what does this team look like when they're not playing from behind? Well, we have 4.5 minutes to figure that one out, Monkey Man.
Yeah, that's very true. Because I think this is the entirety of the game or the series that they've had a lead at all. They've scored. They finally scored first. Great save by G-Man as Beer was looking for that very low to the ground flip reset. Now they're looking for a redirect to try and squeeze this one off the post. Para had already pre-positioned more to the middle of the box, and so they have to back on up. Can't do much with that. And yet, look how Davenport now, as they do play from this leading position, can play so aggressively.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. This ball has not gone under like 70 kilometers an hour for quite a while right now. It hasn't really spent a whole lot of time on the ground either. This is going to be centered up. Power's got to play this one. Taken to the skies and burning the last little bit of boost. That comes off the wall. That should be decent until it's tipped midwards north. Tries for the second effort. The third effort, my goodness. Basically dribbling this against the ball in an attempt to try and get it slotted in the middle.
That was McNasty for a moment. We were about to see a top 5 highlight. Oh, and G-Man might have an extra chance. North stays just nearby, watching both his teammates have a collective touch to it. This is a soft one by Bira. G-Man comes screaming into the night. Gonna wake up all the neighbors with the way they were hurtling at that. And still, the Eagles have not found a way through, and Davenport survives what could have been a very effective offense.
Could have been, should have been, would have been. OC, they've kind of spent more opportunities here as G-Man keeps this aloft and takes it all the way to the corner. A little bit of a bicycle kick right there, tries to center it up, but members of OC unable to really capitalize on that while it was alive. Now from the top, G-Man little tipper, but Tater's going to be there to send this back towards the middle, and Par sends it flying.
It feels like we're about a car length short of a lot of these positions for OC. They've been just a little bit lollygagging, but not because they've been lacking effort. They've just seen Davenport now really kind of get in their face, into their windshield. G-Man has to retreat. They're going to get corner boost and ball and aim for this position and possession. Bira has to scream all the way around. Chili was coming from the attacking half, trying to redirect straight line. Again, they get that read.
Turning those reads into points, turning points from opportunities is really going to be what success is made out of. North over 1 and 2, but not the third. Tater shows up at just the nick of time.
Massive play for Davenport. They don't want to give up this lead. They have all of a single goal. They're only able to get that one. It's the one that matters the most. You can win by 7, you can win by 100, you can win by 1, and it's all the same. A W is a W. Panthers, they would love to build, but these bricks have been made of sand, and the ocean tide is eagle driven. Oh, it's going top shelf. Chili gets one of his own as 97 seconds to go. They finally split through this wall.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, I'm never going to tell Byra to, like, let this go and let Tater, like, really tee off on this from the middle of goal, like, which is a more dangerous position, of course. But if Byra's going to stop this ball here, there's got to be way more of, like, a clearing factor to it, right? Otherwise, it's just, you know, bounce back towards the middle and going to yield an awesome offensive opportunity. G-Man over 1, something that they've really not had any problems with so far today with Davenport University.
Feels like it's been telegraphed a time or two whenever they're trying to go for these fakes. You've had Para really bite onto those, and they've taken advantage of that. But that spacing still doesn't lend them to being upfield. Oh my goodness, G-Man. What control are we getting as he just tornadoes through a couple of separate attackers at the midfield? Less than a minute. They get one to puncture upfield. North is going to be at that sidewall. G-Man is trusting in them, and it's going to be Bira that stands strong at the last zone for the Panthers. They don't want to let this one go by. Overtime maybe where they have to find a win unless they can get it late.
That would have been perfect here for another tie-breaking effort. Para tries to just get around a couple on the back wall. Not going to happen as easily. G-Man across the middle hits them to themselves. Chili! We're going to have a pair of Davenport members meet in the middle for that effort. It's going to be enough, though. And back the other way we go. Para, is that in? Oh my goodness, it is! Off the back wall, and they get no clear.
G-Man picked this one to the side. North had to bite early, and then G-Man thought he had enough. He doesn't get it beyond the post at 45, more of a 60, as it treats it just in front of the box, and they never gave up on the idea that they'd have a chance. Now the Eagles having to prove that they can play deep into a game, come in from behind. Davenport has been so scared, been holding strong. They've got to find and dig deep. See if they can just turn this into a game number 5. North with one extra effort. G-Man can't connect. North will lay it up. G-Man trying for the solo finish. They get the demo. Can they get it to Chili? 5-alarm bells being rung. North is going to have this one challenged away, and this now become this softball. Can they get this one to move upfield?
Yeah, back to the middle, and the rule 0 there. Going to end. Davenport Red puts one on the board, a 2-1 victory. Here's another stat for you folks. How about 1 score differences in all 4 of these games thus far? Despite everything else, right? Despite like massive differences in attempted shots, obviously differences in saves and whatnot, even overtime situations, right? All of these being 1 score differences.
That is such an even stack of scores, by the way, both on to the shot opportunities, but as well as how both these teams kind of tended to this ball. We had basically a 1-0 game for about 3.5-ish minutes, and then we slowly saw things start to burst and open up. But job well done over the Panthers for finding a way through. If it had to be off of just opportunity, finding something that usually isn't there and just kind of sweeping that goal line, that's why you track after those defenders, seeing if they leave anything, making use of what is not even a mistake, just physics not being a friend over to G-Man. So game number 5, this one is anything but done. So that's your first step if you want to really get a reverse sweep.
Yeah, there will be no regular sweep within this series. Whether it'll be a reverse sweep, yet to be found. Now, there will be 3 more games with which to do it. Now, we know Davenport has it in them, right? We saw what Davenport Red is made out of in the postseason last semester. Now, will they be able to recreate it here in week number 1 of the NECC? That is a tale which is yet to be told. Switching on in here, going on over to Tokyo, right?
Good old Neo Tokyo. You got a couple maps before the possibility of Champions Field moves through. And again, if I'm going to see success for Davenport to be able to take down this Eagles squad, it's got to be through an early offense. My goodness, G-Man was already sweeping his way downfield, but he didn't need it. Chili has been the guy to secure the bag. It was North that found this one touch, be able to beat the rest of the defenders.
Yeah, fantastic stuff right here. Chile has been like kind of that middle position, right? Always breaking back for defensive efforts, always setting up the 2 teammates, North and G-Man. Well, we're gonna get enough for, and pretty much a solo effort, right? Like there was some concentrated efforts here from the teammates to have set up the possibility here, but everything offensively, everything ball handling wise, done right there with that player. That's what we're talking about when we talk about like well-rounded Rocket League players.
Yeah, and I mean, G-Man has been kind of a wild man as well. He's been all over the place, all over this pitch, really being a thorn in the side of Davenport. I mean, right here, that shot is like just a single pixel away from off of that bumper from being untenable and untendable as a goalie, and yet he finds it in a long stretch play and has been really disruptive in the middle of this midline. But Davenport has been slow. They've been methodical. They've been kind of looking for their better placement shots, but because of that, they've opened up much greater express lanes for the Eagles to really kick through.
Wow, okay, I did not see G-Man coming out of nowhere for this one. This is perfectly set up right here. Oh, G-Man's actually on the fake right there. Chili just puts another effort against the corner right here and then feeds it middle. Fantastic stuff, and also you will see, Monkey Man, we see our first 2-score difference in 3 games.
Yeah, last time that happened, it was what it was 2-0 actually over into that game number 2 because they had the 3-0 to start things off, and then it was starting to look very, very similar, and then eventually Davenport, they worked their way back into it. So maybe that game number 4 was all of shades of something different, of trying to find their way in. They'll be able to cut it in half. So game number 2 on repeat.
Man, oh man, we've had 5-score games and 3-score games total so far. We have that many in 90 seconds. Once per 30, right on the nose here as well. A lot to be said for reliability. Once every 30 seconds, getting a goal. I hope you guys keep this up here.
Say your watches to it. Your Rocket League watch has got the little soccer ball in the second hand. So if they sell those, I'll buy one. I hope it's like made of plastic and it's waterproof. So, a shot! I'm trying to be able to roll it. They're going to have Para just bulldoze in afterwards. And I feel like that's one kind of part of this overall conglomerate of Panthers that is lacking is they have a very effective 1-2, but the third always seems like it's an afterthought.
Yeah, and that might just be the difference of like kind of the macro that you were talking about, right? There's not like a significant, like you saw, I feel like I saw this one drawn up pretty much right here, right? Once it gets past Para, then there's just two defensive players in, and you'll see Davenport, like a Davenport member did not put car to ball at any point in that sequence, right? OC Esports just doing a fantastic job just playing keep away on that, really.
Whew. We had the bot kickoff just there. 2 from either side as everyone just tries to crisscross applesauce and find a connection. So Eagles will reestablish that 2-goal lead. And yeah, it feels like the plans have been much more thoroughly thought out. And even if it's just writing it on a napkin and slapping it into the old playbook as quickly as you can, the Eagles have communicated how they want to be able to do things. And everything is a little bit more instinctual, but they're hive minding out there, and they're really leading from the front, finding these particular ways to do it, and they couldn't get a block onto Chili. He still stands strong.
Just ice cold right there. Was not biting on anything. You had 2 different players coming in. Knew that offending player without ball wasn't really going to be able to make connection like with his car, and the other one, if you're shooting and making connection with the defender with your own car, well, you're doing it wrong. Fantastic defensive effort right there. Into 2 minutes we go, Monkey Man.
This is a free net. Oh, North didn't have enough boost. The third man was in the same capacity. We saw Chili getting chased down. They were absolutely trying to take down the third man of the Panthers. So Davenport University Red is definitely in a hole. But again, they're finding holes. They've been able to move this one upfield, and this is a second gap that gives them the second goal.
Okay, hang on a second. Yeah, like, yeah. This is following the exact same scoring pattern, albeit literally about 100 seconds earlier than we did in game number 1. Like literally a two-score lead, and then slowly coming back, right? But the last goal was from Byra, and it was at literally 0-0-0, so we ended at 3-2. Davenport University improving upon that situation is market improvement. That's exactly what we're looking for here. And now they have plenty of time to get the last one and tie this up.
It's because they have those waterproof Rocket League watches. They've been able to keep a little bit quicker time, making sure to at least give themselves. Trying to give it a second. Can they get that double? No. Oh, not enough boost. Now they have just enough time to make it work. So they don't need to send everything in the kitchen sink in the soccer ball as well. 70 seconds to go. Bira and the rest of the Panthers just got to communicate. North wants to interject and intercede from some of that possession. But look how they brought this one upfield. Bira hoping for a soft double, bringing it on to a shot. Now Tater with an opportunity. They go backboard. They pancake it, but they can't get it down.
Yeah, so this was a hit more so against the backboard instead of like kind of down to a teammate and like out a little bit more. As it is, that was a serious looking run, something that North treated very, very seriously. Bira kind of comes up to this, maybe more of a fake, as Tater might be setting up something beautiful. Para, excuse me. Nah, nobody else on that opposite corner right here. That's kind of more basics though. You got to have somebody in that quadrant, right? In that like third of the pitch.
Oh, yeah, that one could have been. That was the nail, the hammer, and the coffin that currently the Panthers are sitting in. Whether it be just fundamentals or otherwise, these teams have been going at each other, and one has been executing a little bit faster than the other. Look at him! Tater's on the other corner. He slots this pass. Bira sees Tater when no one else could.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, splitting quadrants, right? If Tater is not just over here, but also not lined up, like no boost necessary on that hit, right, Monkey Man? But if they're not over there, like lined up perfectly, just waiting for the shot, that doesn't happen, and this ends 3-2. As it is, tie ball game, and we're more likely going to overtime than not.
This is going to be the highest scoring game that we've had across this series. He gets slapped down to the pavement. Neo Tokyo is no one's favor here, and as we go overtime, North gets an early demo, but the Panthers have found a way again to survive. They've gone deep into brackets, deep into seasons. Now they got to do so to start this off for the spring.
All the way up. Well, North treating this very seriously. Bira actually sends us off the nose, and that's the exact opposite direction they wanted to go in. G-Man takes us from the ceiling. Gonna try and walk the dog in themselves. Para with a very methodical stop and block. It kind of stops all of that. It's 100 boost wasted there in G-Man's offense. Now North at their attempt. Down, bottom, and just kind of gets away from them. Back on the other side of the pitch we go.
I've actually been surprised that we've not spoken about G-Man in a minute. There's been, so much effectivity of how they've gone through some of the series, but it feels like they've been muted, and Davenport has done a great job at really having to do that, and it's been tough to accomplish at times. A minute about to be ticked up into this. You don't want to give it back to any player from the Eagles, especially in front of your own box. Chili pre-jumping this as Bira will be to the back wall. Double commit as he and Para will have that team-like connection, high-fiving. Then Para gets slapped backwards, flip reset. North has it hidden. He doesn't use it, was trying to get all the defense to bite.
I can dig this. Like, it's... Some people might look at that and say fancy for fanciness' sakes, but once you get the reset, like alarm bells are going off in the defenders' heads, right? They are thinking that you're going to come in with something you can post on YouTube tomorrow, right? When you slow down and just do something more methodical, like I feel like a lot of times out of 100, that person's going to bite on what they think that you are going to do. So just keeping it simple is not something I'm against whatsoever. And also, the Eagles have a lot more wiggle room than the Panthers do.
Of course, I mean, for the greater part of these now nearly 2 minutes here in overtime, it has been stuck onto this orange half. That's going to be going off the ceiling. Got to watch out. Both North and Chili are there. Chili's there as a spy. He back passes. G-Man with the shot. Looking for the double, but Bira will be able to leap in time. But look how every one of the Panthers is just literally plastered to their own backboard. And now with no boost, they really can't have an effective counter.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, whenever...
What? Say? I said somehow, but what?
Wow, so this actually kind of comes off the back as a benefit from being all sectioned up like this, right? Ball does not get hit way high aloft, right? Ball does not require like 60 boost to go up and make a play on. This one stays down bottom, and all of them are like super like centralized in one single part of this match. And I don't know how I missed this. Tater with a Texas hat trick. You know why it's not a regular hat trick there, Monkey Man?
Because it's we got one extra. Is that why?
Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's very true. You're right. You've said that before. I should have learned. By the way, Bira with Playmaker medal as well as 6 saves, getting that double savior medal. So I got to see Power of Friendship and a big old capital yes twice. So they do. The Power of Friendship has now brought the Panthers within 1 game. Remember, I said that they would not be in anyone's conversations. They would be afterthoughts if they could not get this to a reverse sweep. They're one step away from now being on the tip of our lips for at least the next week.
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to look at series and be like, oh, they lost 3 in a row. But again, all of these were by 1 score. One of them is in overtime. 2 of them now in overtime, with the second one being won by the Panthers right here. This series is not done by any means. The Eagles got to be on like upset alert as of right now, because what they've been doing, which like, you could take a lot of their plays here, Monkey Man, and say that what they're doing is tuning up the fanciness to 100 and waiting on their opponents to pre-jump and try and make plays so they're not getting, like, posterized, right? And then they're taking their play and just boiling it down to, like, Rocket League, like 102, I'll say. Not 101, but like 102, and then going for simple plays because they're working, right? Now, you have to have a malleable game plan within the great game of Rocket League. If you keep trying the same thing over and over again, eventually a team, especially like these D1 teams, are going to figure it out. And that's kind of what's happened in the past like game or two, and that's really has gone on to be the difference. 1 score so far in the last 2 games to allow Davenport to stay alive.
There's been a lot of different times for these teams to shine as well, because we got to see Bira be a defensive masterclass, and then Chili, for his own greater good, for the side of the Eagles, he's shown up when G-Man, who was this so hot, just everywhere man, really do effective things. You're going to see G-Man get the demo, Chili with the handoff, every one of the Eagles able to get a touch in this play.
And this is such a perfect takeaway there from Chili, right? It's coming this way if it hits the wall. That was going mid-pitch, and who knows where it's going from there, right? As it is, Chili says, nope, I'll take that. Demo comes down bottom. There's no play there. And then nobody is home in front of the net to just stop what is probably the easiest goal of North's goals today.
Even then, it had to be a heater zinger from the outside corner. So the Davenport, again, they're starting from behind. They've only had 1 game where they've been able to score first. Eagles now trying to set the tone a bit early. We've not had a blowout. You've mentioned it before. Every single game has been by 1. Even when it was a pretty dominant show of force in that first game, they still found a couple to statistically put the numbers up. G-Man's going to let this go over to North, and that was a tough one. Everyone goes jumping through. What? Tater again outside the box. Look at this touch.
This is fantastic. Everybody on OC Esports is just on high alert. Tater, no boost necessary. Just perfectly little angle right there, and we have yet another tied Rocket League game.
This is starting to feel like that D2 battle that we thought it would be. One runner-up from the D2 championship, the other one finding a method to the madness, and then Davenport trying to pour it on. This is not a squad that wants to go away quietly. They want to be loud. They want to showcase why they're here in D1. Their big brothers are here. They want to be the bigger bratted brothers. Maybe take that spot. North has a 1v1. Para has no boost, and they're, not able to find a clean shot.
No, G-Man looked like they had a nice clear avenue of movement inside, but all for naught right there. Two different members, and again, it's actually kind of a situation. Perfect pass. Okay, G-Man. I was unfamiliar with your game.
This actually comes off of a weird collision. That came off of a would-be attacker from the Panthers. It squirts on by the midfield sweeper, who I think at the time was Bira, and then just, right place, right time. G-Man has been everywhere, and apparently their omnipotence finally shows.
Yeah, given how much this player has stretched the pitch so far, just like constantly all over the place. Offense, defense, we saw that in the first couple of games. Can't really be as big a surprise to me that eventually one gets lofted their way, and now our 6th game of this best-of-7 series. Chili on the top right here. Maybe another miscoordination for the Eagles, though.
Step ahead, but it's the North that finds that one before it gets out to the top of the blue stripes. that hemisphere. Ooh, I love the extra dribble, and you're getting that one underneath his car. Kind of just a half collection to make sure if they can get it to a teammate or themselves, it will be tough to fend off from the Panthers, who still only have that one. But they've kept it within one. Beer to Tater, who has been dangerous here on this sector of the box. But even that ladder third with no boost ended up being just kind of a rock that's trying to roll.
Nice little midfield fake right there. Who's going to hit it? Well, that's yielded a possession so far. And now shot attempts. G-Man comes in. A double commit right there. Para's going to get the save. Chili off the side. Actually gets burned right there. Tater comes down, takes another one north. Finally fills the position. Gets this hit, but this is not a clear. And there's still Davenport offensive possession. This should be as well as Para. No, doesn't really get a horizontal hit on this. Much more vertical. Speaking of vertical, North tries up for it. Chili gets a wayward hit, and Byra, perfect position, perfect time. This might have been dangerous otherwise.
Oh, but this still has a chance. You're going to have the third man coming through, and that's why. Okay, look at the way this ends up going. G-Man pre-jumps to this corner, trying to get it past Tater, but then Chili has to be the one to receive, so there's no one in support. North went hurtling into the net, and Davenport was left with just an open opportunity from that sidewall. So Davenport, they take what they can get, and do reaggress when, your third man ends up going a bit too far. It's a 1v1, Para with the demo, trying to get another!
Wow, a little shake and bake. They do it twice. Davenport right here showing a lot more life. Not a little bit more life, a lot more life. Para comes in for the fake, and that's going to be a hit that Chili, again, gets nothing more than a front row seat to. Do I hear a lead getting trickled away right now?
You're hearing it, you're seeing it, you're living it. You may even be able to taste the flavor at this point. And not just those upset alert and alarm bells, but I'm starting to hear the closet door open because the janitors pulled for the brooms.
Okay.
But G-Man says that they are taking over that one as a second, hiring position. They're not going to let him go clean it up just yet.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. The mess stays on the field as OC Sports offense, when they're set up, they look unstoppable. Davenport has done a fantastic job of they just had the lead, and that's not really something they can say across many games. Now they've had a fantastic performance across the two, and a part of that is striking early, striking often, and maintaining that lead. As it is, tie game, 60 seconds to go, and no longer a situation where OC Sports has all the games in the world with which to play.
Down to just one before your reverse sweep starts coming to a very ugly head. G-Man is going to go all the way back as Para is going to try and track with him, but it was actually a nice beat. North needs to track after an underneath Bira, who gets a flip reset. Love the extension there. They will not have any corner boost to get because it was stolen out on the rotation by the Eagles. This is an honest shot. It has been no lies, just play out of the Panthers. Because of that, you have a two-man run, and they are able to get it off of G-Man.
Another hat trick for the G-Man. 19 seconds to go and does everything. Now, this is a situation of him doing fancy stuff, like posing like they're going to do fancy stuff, and then doing more fancy stuff. Davenport does not get there. A one-score difference with 20 seconds to go as we were flirting. We were getting the number of a reverse sweep. No longer.
Oh, one extra chance. They've got to find this way upfield. Taters are going to try and immediately reverse it. They're going to get demoed off of the pitch. No attackers, no problem. Trying to get it off of the 90. Can they find one solid connection? North and Chili wanted to die. Up underneath it. They're going to get the takeaway, and that will do it. Game 6 is where it will end. GGs are called, but a lot of love over to the Panthers. They were within a single stretch of making it work out. Eagles will take this week 1 opener.
Man, oh man. Hey, it may have started out as a 3-0 run games-wise here for Oklahoma Christian. It may have ended out at the 4-2. Ultimately, I think that's much better place for where this series should have gone. We'll just go through it. How about that? 3-2 game number 1, 3-2 overtime status there. Game number 2, Oklahoma Christian takes it 2-1 status in game number 3. Sets up the sweep. Nope. That's going to be Davenport Red. 2-1 victory in game number 4. A 4-3 overtime victory in game number 5, and just barely gives this up in game number 6.
Wow, that's a team that knows how to dig deep. I want to see if they're going to do that for the entirety of the season. A great way to showcase that they are not going to be easily kicked down. But OC Esports, even though they got tested, and even though they met with a wily Panther, the Eagles get the job done, and that's what you got to do here in Division One if you want to have a chance at making the big show and going to the playoffs yourselves. Well, the spring has already given us a single gift here, Tugboat, but we're going to be going into a bit of a break as we have more Division One action. It's going to be the St. Clair Saints Gold versus the Mizzou Tigers. You don't want to miss it. More NECC right after this.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb at first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst.
I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you. I would climb 1,000 mountains, swim across the darkest ocean, cause I'm trying to get to you. Yeah, I'm trying to get to you. I wanna get to you, cause I gotta get to you.
Welcome back, everyone. NECC faithful, we're so awesome and just happy to see you here on these lovely Thursdays. But of course, make sure to check us out throughout the week as esports is now alive and well here for the spring semester, just like what we saw in our first match of the day. Again, I am Hail Monkey Man alongside the GOAT, that is the Tugboat. My man, we got to see what was nearly a comeback. It came oh so close, yet so far, but a lot of competition still left for the night.
Oh yes, oh yes. The reverse sweep alarm was almost being sounded here in the farmhouse. That was a sixth game 4-2 win for Oklahoma Christian University. In case you guys missed it, every single game, including 2 overtime games, all going to a difference of one single score all the way throughout all the 6 of those games, whichever way they did end up going. What we got on the slate here for you guys next up in the buffet here of Rocket League is the Missouri University squad taking on the St. Clair Saints Gold. Now, we got Frostbite, Bubs, and Exodia West taking on Fabso, Fatal RL, and Christian. Now, the tail of the tape, as they say, Monkey Man, might be a little bit different for these 2 university squads.
Yeah, this is a tale of Mizzou Tigers. They were Division I last season. They came up 7th in their the split of Group A and Group B for D1 at only 2-5, 15-21. So they did have kind of that balance of games, kind of looking like what maybe the Kansas City Chiefs would be if the refs weren't so favorable. But to the other end of St. Clair Saints Gold, yes, I am on that train. St. Clair Saints
Absolutely.
dropped only 6 games. 6 games the entire season, inclusive of playoffs, where 2 of those games that they dropped were in the grand finals.
Yes.
That is a heck of a run.
It's an insane stat put forward by an absolutely goated squad. St. Clair Saints Gold, and they're going to be getting this one started here and early. St. Clair Saints on your right side in the orange or red. Missouri Tigers, Missouri Esports squad over here on the left in the blue. Christian coming up and that looking dangerous yet again. To the corner we go. That's a little bit off to the outside here as Bubs goes to chase it down. Fabso comes in with a hit and a demo. Little 2 birds, 1 stone type situation. My goodness, Frostbite down bottom. Fantastic stuff.
That's a great upfield connection. Bubs not only got the first touch, but they fell just as their boost gave up, and Frostbite was immediately in position. If you have someone that's at that near side post, as you travel that long range, you will always have at least a threat, and it was a promise against the St. Clair Saints Gold defense. And this is a squad that's not used to playing from behind, and they're seeing Mizzou welcoming them into D1.
Yeah, no, seriously, a fantastic effort here early from the Missouri Tigers. Again, on paper, these 2 teams did significantly different things last semester. Well, you know what I say to that, Monkey Man? Last semester was last semester.
Yeah, those stats were collected. Everyone nodded their head and approved them, but it's a clean sheet. And this is a team that's trying to play cleanly. They have so far at least minimized what could be done by the Saints. Christians looking for the air dribble bump and navigating it so well as Bubs.
Wow, just the sheer fact that he was able to avoid hitting any other car, teammate or otherwise, is enough to get the Tugboat seal of approval on that fantastic effort. And a fantastic effort it was. 90 seconds in, only 1 score on board so far. That was the Tigers that struck first as Frostbite looked dangerous, and Bubs explodes down bottom.
Can't be forgotten, Bubs had that passing play that extended the entire length of the pitch, and then they were able to get that over to Frostbite. This time, they just finished the job themselves. Frostbite was trying to body the first man that was aiming to go for it. St. Clair didn't have a good read as they all retracted in retreat. The Tigers, they are pouncing early here as the first minute and a half finally elapse.
Bubs, defensive efforts, offensive efforts, everything in between. Tries to get it down bottom. Fabso, though, Going to maintain possession through that 50. Fatal sends us flying off to the right corner. 2 players there. Frostbite in front, Bubs in back. Bubs plays perfect position on this one, and this ball does nothing more than roll towards the St. Clair side. Fabso, big boost and trying to get something going through the air, twisting and turning, and Frostbite can't connect. That looked like it was a fantastic angle. I mean, there might have been one player back, but you still want to take those, right?
Yeah, you definitely want to at least find that next connection if possible. And again, this is the D2 East champs here out of St. Clair Saints. So see if they can find a way through. But so far, Mizzou has been shutting them down. I feel like it. You know, you and I would agree that it is a compliment. But Bubs is looking like G-Man was in that previous series, everywhere and anywhere that they need their team to be. But this one finally picked up as Fatal will find something through the sky.
Yeah, Fatal finds that off with their heads play. This is just off the back of a really bad clear. This sets it up perfectly across the middle. I mean, all three St. Clair members may have been there. Doesn't really matter when you have a player twisting through the air like that and slots it so high.
Yeah, that one goes straight ceiling. Fabso though looking for another kill shot if they can drop down onto it, maybe a floor pinch. Frostbite will go for the 50-50, and this comes out a little bit safer for the Saints. St. Clair now being guided away from it as Frostbite will come all the way forward, and Bubs caught in a backwards leaning reception of that ball. Again, Mizzou hasn't exactly been too hard pressed from that back wall. They've had a time or two. You did see that 1v2 that was navigated very well by Bubs. Look at the demos that are now starting to get this physical play going as we're less than 2 minutes here in game 1.
Bubs tries to get across 2 of them right there. That's going to be a lot easier said than done. Zodia West. Oh no, Christian! Oh, just walks the dog inside, and Christian, off of 5 shots, finally gets a goal.
Okay, so Frostbite tried to be able to backflip into it and then just collided off of Christian's nose, who just kept on walking it forward. The dog was barking. They had him on the leash. They let it loose. And apparently that was enough to chase the ball down 2-2, and St. Clair, they've responded well. Can they do more?
Oh, Christian with another one. Their 6th shot now. What, 10 seconds later?
I mean, Bubs was going to be underneath this. That's a tough read. That fell from that backboard. I think there was Frostbite that was elevating to it as Bubs was having to chase from that corner. Tough call, tough situation. And now Saints, all of a sudden, this is a completely 180 narrative.
Squad out Toronto's got to be happy with their performance after losing the lead. Significant fashion, not once but twice, right? Tying it up right there, 1-1, and then giving up another one to these Tigers. Now, 2-piecing up, lead of 1. Now, there's no real lead indeed, but they have to extend this one if they're going to want to feel comfortable in this. Missouri on the other side, going to have to tie this one up, and with about 60 seconds left to go, it's not a terrible position in which to be with the St. Clair Saints. Is this going to be, no free real estate here. Christian's down bottom, I just couldn't quite see them.
Yeah, this is St. Clair recognized that they were giving a lot of space up to Mizzou to kind of work with. I think they were setting up for some of their offense to eventually getting that leading score. But they definitely have compressed and consolidated all of that extra territory that was being charitably issued out to the Tigers. 40 seconds to go. Bubs is going to aim for a bump. Can't quite connect onto Christian, who has been a lethal menace in the side of Mizzou. That's going to go off of a teammate. Frostbite is caught in transition, trying to translate this one forward. Bubs looking for a chance. They have to get it over to Frostbite. Oh, the read just doesn't happen. They've got a second effort, and it doesn't hit between the pipes.
I guarantee you if this is 4v4, there would have been another player there. What was that pinch? Oh my god, they got it! Frostbite lands again for the 2nd time in this game. Look at this pinch. That is from exactly mid-pitch, Monkey Man.
Frostbite taking some trigonometry 2. Jeez. Hitting as hard as it can from the floor to the ceiling. We might have an overtime to spin this one in. Fatal will leave it off to Frostbite. He's had a couple of great drives. Might be able to get one more. Bubs aims for the 50-50. It's going to be a photo finish if we do it in regulation. They leave it up. They have to get Exodia. This one goes from Fabso to Fatal to maybe one last chance. Fabso with the kill shot. Christian cannot connect before the floor is found.
OT early. I love it. I absolutely love this. Frostbite. Dude, You give me like the world's greatest calculator, 100 years, I can't do that calculation to get that angle, man. You give me frame by frame, I can't do that. He does it in a quarter of a second. Fabso looking real dangerous right there until everybody connects onto Fatal just a little bit too fast. But this ball is now going an inopportune way if you're the St. Clair Saints, especially after that miss. Fabso leaves it to Christian. Christian gets demoed. Okay. A little bit of danger abated, possibly.
Yeah, this is definitely three-dimensional levels being approached by Mizzou. They know that they can work very well off of the ceiling. They've seen the top of the mountain, at least when it comes to having to deal with this D1 competition in the fall season. And even though they weren't able to make the playoffs, now all that experience is really starting to elaborate. And as we pontificate upon it, St. Clair in this first minute is recognizing that Mizzou is not going to be an easy walk in the park. Doesn't matter if you won a D2 championship, D1 is a lot tougher. Taking on a 1v1 flip reset, but that's a denial by Frostbite.
There's some fancy footwork or aerial work, whatever you want to call it, acrobatic work perhaps. This was an opportunity, and Fabso is going to... I'm really confused as to this. Like, they see Fabso here, they get the hit under... And okay, so Frostbite just didn't hit this as hard. Okay, so yeah. As Frostbite's coming down on this, they try and turn their car like cylindrically, if that makes sense, right, in the air to like get a better hit on this. But given that they just don't have enough momentum going there, like if this hits a little bit harder, then it gets to the corner and the teammate picks it up. I completely understand what happened there, but at the end of the day, this is just such perfect Rocket League, right? This is so indicative of two really, really well-matched teams because it comes down to just like the slightest, the tiniest of mistakes there from Frostbite. And also, if anybody can be given a little leeway here, Monkey Man, I think it's going to be Frostbite after that pinch off the wall for the tying factor, right? Like, crazy stuff.
Yeah, a mathematical magician. And yeah, that one was awkward because Bubs had just taken that corner boost, and you could tell that he was willing to go for it into where that ball was. It was kind of a no man's land situation since the attacker was there as well. Frostbite wanted to lay it up, twist it to Bubs to maybe turn into, but Bubs was pointing towards his own net. It's one of those where you kind of overthink it and you kind of outplay rotation. So, you know what? You have high mechanical plays, you have pinches just work, and then you have players that, want to just monkey around and then end up being too much calculating the bananas. We go into game number 2 here in a second, and I feel like that was a great just opener for both teams to be like, okay, you know what? We played all that Rocket League. Let's just get back to regular dynamics.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm going the other way with it. Frostbite, you did it once. I want to see that again. I want to see magic happen and lightning strike twice, okay? Like, that was absolutely... that was one of the craziest Rocket League shots I think I've casted this year, to be honest with you, man. Like, yeah, it's February 6th. Like, I realize it's not that far into the year, but still.
We are 5 weeks in, and you're like, you know what? That one. Retire. I'm out.
And the fact that it only came in at 60 kilometers an hour is probably the craziest part of all of that. Like, it takes 2 bounces, right? Generally, the momentum, right, is going to be significantly lost. Oh. A slow roller? Okay, yeah, I was going to say, St. Clair generally not going to get...
Oh!
I was not finishing that statement. You saw that, Monkey Man? I was not going to finish that statement.
Yeah, they don't ever let these slow ones through... trying for the loft. We're definitely testing fate right now.
Yes.
Duel of the Fates is happening, and everyone's busting out the twin lightsabers. First minute finally goes through. Bubs is just gonna... Well, actually, he's gonna lose out on this possession. That lets it go to Fabso, who's gonna have a free look, and they get... Oh, no! That rings off the posts.
Okay, yeah, so on one of those situations would have led to have a replay on... to just kind of see how that happened, because those kind of seemed like more methodical plays from a player like Fabso. I mean, this is the one who broke the tie in game number 1 and whatnot. Obviously, plenty of mechanical skill. Now picking up their resources as well. So goes for resource, gives up possession. Bubs now going down the other way. If there's a score off of this series of plays, this drive, this will be a significant mistake. And a little bit of demo play. Fatal is going to take down 1 right there. This is going the other way, so a demo for possession. I'm not going to make that trade any day of the week.
Christian finds us, again, you would call it out, they had a plethora of shooting opportunities, and everyone kind of paused to that backboard. They thought maybe Fabso was going to kind of relinquish and free the beast, but it ends up being a drop over to Christian, who very quietly doing the work necessary behind both Fatal and Fabso to find themselves in some better positions. Bubs just gonna boom this one away.
Yeah, just really put the body onto it and get those big clears when it's necessary, or clears, hits, whatever you want to call it. Frostbite, more of a lackadaisical attempt, but again, if you're forcing hand to defender, never a bad thing. Now, if you get force hand and you give our possession, different story, but Frostbite continues the effort here for the Tigers. Zodia West being irritating, straight up irritating in the corner right there, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're talking about like breaking up plays, and there you go. This literally comes off the back of this irritation play that Exodia was playing right there, right? So possession comes off right up here. Fatal gets nothing on the clear, and Frostbite's just gonna feast. That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
And Bubs is bodying the goalie as well. Christian was supplanted to the back of the net and just couldn't do anything with it. So. You know what? That was a long and extended offense out of Mizzou. They knew that they had to really kind of slow down this game and work into one of those deeper corner zones to see if St. Clair could just kind of be taken off of this 1-2 hot pot rocket style of shooting. So good work, and oh no.
Oh no.
That happened too.
Man, oh man. So first own goal we'll see tonight. Hopefully the only own goal we'll see tonight. As commentators, guys, we never do like to see that, and that is well, as clear cut as you get. 2:16 right here. St. Clair's going to take a lead. May I remind you, folks, we had a couple minutes of overtime in game number 1, and that did go down, obviously, 1 score differential. Now, Exodia West and the rest. Missouri is. I can't think of a better word besides cheap, and I'm only saying that because they're paying little for it, right? And possibly because they're not like. It's not like they're outplaying or outclassing their opponents in 50s or like always maintaining boost and able to get aerial better than their opponents. No, they're doing stuff like that, right? They're doing stuff where they're bothering opponents in the corners. They're just taking cheap possessions, even if it's only for a couple of seconds. But it is working, right? And I'm never going to say anything bad about a gameplay when it is working. If anything, that's the St. Clair squad that's been allowing this to happen, like allowing this to continue on and thrive, and especially off of the goal that Missouri's took. Like, they gave that away because you're irritated because you're trying to push Exodia West off because he bumped into you twice? Like, I don't know.
I feel just like what you mean, because this is definitely the St. Clair squad that they had given up a lot of kind of space, allowing Mizzou to work in game number 1, and this time, and then when they started to really kind of squeeze that in, you're recognizing that it's much tougher than to have to work through, but they don't want to deal with that man-on-man kind of pressure. Winning the mental game is part of this. Exodia trying for the angle, they can't quite contain the ball, and we have still just a 1-goal difference. Fabso over the top. This is gonna waterfall down. Someone's gonna be squeezing in, and it's Fatal.
There you go. Okay, so this is much more of a constructed play, right? Fabso gets it across everybody, it seems. Exodia West does get a handle on this, but after Frostbite doesn't really get an opportunity to send this off the backboard and actually kind of get it out away from this goal. Now, it may have waterfalled down, might as well have been the dropping of the guillotine right there off with their heads. 3rd goal, and the insurance goal purchased from St. Clair. That was dangerous.
If it was, this is definitely a team that they've allowed a lot of series to go deep. Remember, I was talking about they went 15 and 21 in total games for series play in their previous season, trying to get away from would-be physicality, but they've not put away moments when they've had some times to shine. 25 seconds to go. Christian is just laying up for the dunk, and that will ultimately put it out of reach.
There you go. And 3 scores, 23 seconds. I'm going to say it. Very, very unlikely. Christian put on a clinic right there as far as mid-air dribbling, and their second shot yields their second goal. We're going to be looking at St. Clair here, trying to continue on their aggression thus far. Fabso taking a demo off of kickoff right here, and now now it is without outside of the realm of possibility, even with kickoffs or whatnot, for Missouri to come back. St. Clair is going to take this game number 2. Now, this is a best-of-7 series here, Monkey Man, so this is not done with quite yet, and they will not be on match point yet.
I'll drop in or down. St. Clair going to be walking away maybe with consolation, but they don't even need it, and now that we're just playing for a pure 0-second time. St. Clair Saints, Gold Squad, they'll come up to be 2-0. So let's talk about this one here early, Tugboat, because Mizzou, that first game looked like a completely different Mizzou than I remember seeing from the previous fall. This one, you see Exodia with those 36 points, not completely them, but this feels a lot more indicative of what were their woes before. St. Clair just pouring it on lane. They also just felt like there was a backbreaker happening around that 2.5 minute mark that then just let the Saints start marching in.
Yeah, a lot of times I feel like it can feel like teams that have like significant performances off, from last semester, right? Like again, St. Clair coming in losing all of 6 games across the entire semester. Just to remind you guys of the stat and whatnot. I think this 4-1 scoreline can kind of feel like, okay, well, the Saints got up like mid-game or so, and then just added on to a lead as Missouri was trying to just trying everything, throwing everything in the kitchen sink offensive wise to try and go for it, because a loss of 1, loss of 3, loss of 10, it's all the same within the scoreboard, right? But that's not really where this was. Missouri did such a better job of just keeping like their game plan like pedal to metal, keeping on with their own game plan, not really like, I'm not saying not respecting the game plan of the St. Clair Saints, but not allowing that to just like overall choose what it is that they're going to be doing, right? So as it is, like, I really feel like Missouri just needs to continue to play their own game all the way through this, right? There's no need to really change up right here. They just showed they can take them to overtime here. Just recreate that within game number 3. You're not on match point. Again, no fire alarm bells in the station right now.
Yeah, no, and to your same credit and the same point, I feel like both these teams, and very much to Mizzou, they started completely playing away from Bubs. Bubs was kind of a non-factor at times. Exodia was playing more to the off-ball contact, and some of you may have watched this a little bit. South American RLCS used to be obsessed with getting flip resets as if they had just discovered they existed. It felt like we had done and so they had that one-trick pony kind of concept. This same idea, it felt like everyone was just trying to get the single touch from dribble, bring it to air, get a flip reset, and kind of just whoop and bring it on over. There was no indication that they were trying to change that game plan. That entire thing was just, all right, let me go for like an isolating like 1v1 play to open up the shot, and then boom. And St. Clair was like, this is boring. Let's switch up the playbook. We got way more that we can take different shots with going into the later part of that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna give accolades while take them away, right? Exodia West was really like kind of like the person behind the scenes pulling the strings of the one goal that this squad got, right? That Missouri got, and again, that was just irritating play. And yes, they got 36 points. Well, you don't get points for just knocking into your opponents, right? Demos maybe blah blah whatever, right? You don't get points for that. At the same time, there's not much of an excuse behind getting double-digit points in general and 36, not even close to 100, right? Got to get this squad more involved, offense and defense, because, I mean, it even saves you get points for. Exodia West got to get more involved here for the Missouri Tigers.
And if he's going to be a demo artist, well, then Exodia, obliterate. Got to get through. Fatal. That ends up being a great save situation, and Bub's hoping to lay it up to anyone, but both Exodia as well as Frostbite had already vacated the premises. And just as they were looking for another clear, Frostbite gets deleted. Christian wants to be much more involved for trying to take away any clear Mizzou possession. And look how Mizzou has just been under fire, not just from shots, but directly on physical contact.
Yeah, there's been a couple of demos already. You kind of see a little bit of a change in game plan for the St. Clair Saints off of kickoff. We'll see if that kind of physical aggression continues in the next 4 minutes of gameplay. But gameplay, speaking of, has really died down. This has been a lot of midfield play. If they even get to the corner for any length of time. Okay, Fabso keeps this alive. Now back to the mid-pitch we go.
Frostbite gets a bonus. They actually get an extra. So, okay.
Free.
Bubs was a leading tackler. So look how this ends up kind of moving forward. Frostbite ends up with a kind of an effective demo. Bubs threatens just enough. I think that was to fatal.
Yep.
And so there's just no one there. So, hey, you know what? Get that lead tackler. The running back often gets a touchdown.
There you go. Hey, the tailback position is not dead, despite what they would have you believe. Fantastic play, right? This just stays on the ground all the way through. I got to say, from Fatal, you at least got to take the hit. You at least got to take the demo, because you got to try and make plays on this. But Fabso gets it all done themselves off of, I mean, not quite so physical play, more just like acrobatic, more like, what's it called? Not ballerina. What's it called? Yeah, sure, ballerina, whatever. Pirouette. That's what I was looking for. The pirouette.
I mean, pirouettes from a ballerina.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
the ones hitting those. I can't hit those. I tried last time. I think I've like sprained an ankle, something to that regard. So we're trading long plays up and down this pitch. The initial one was kind of a tackle for their tailback, and that one was just Fabso taking advantage of the fact that Mizzou was leaning in too far forward. It was Frostbite that had tried to be at that second man position, and then getting an absolute dunk onto Exodia a second ago really kind of worked out for them. They don't have enough boost to readjust. Christian has gone quiet, and it's really been a spread of the responsibility here for the Saints as to who's going to have those offensive moments to get them going.
Well, speaking of getting them going, trying to allow their teammates to go forth and succeed, flipping out of the way right there. Fantastic job, like realizing the trajectory is true and allowing defender to try and do something. Fabso from the top, this is back off the backboard. Nope, Fatal tries for something, and there's nobody on this side of the pitch. Excuse me.
No boost. Look how far Exodia had to go to get boost. They put a ripper on target, by the way. Find that into the box. We're at the midway point of both the kind of the series, if it ends up being a 4-0, as well as this game, as St. Clair, they've kept it even. Stevens, Mizzou's found that opener. We've not seen anyone else able to build. This feels eerily similar to what we saw in the previous game just before a whole can started getting opened up.
Can they do it? Nah, Christian doesn't put enough juice and air on this one, and Bubs gets a real easy block. That's actually turning into a ball the other way till Fatal has something to say about it. Zodia West meets them in the middle, sends us back the other way. Frostbite gets beaten to it as Bubs once again left to held the mantle down bottom as they get it taken away. This is last player back, and Frostbite makes a big hit into this one in the next quarter.
So look how each Saint out of St. Clair is actually just getting so much real estate. And they're doing these plays by themselves. There's not a passing play that's really having to connect with anyone. This one more laterally in the middle of the pitch will. But Mizzou has freed up territory for St. Clair to just go, and I don't think that's going to be paying them any benefit. Finally, as they work for maybe a cross-angle touch, Bubs doesn't get their way back to it, and Frostbite eventually does, as Bubs may be able to put it under his undercarriage. It takes two to tango, and apparently two Tigers to at least find that from the outside angle, but we're still tied at nothing apiece. Frostbite, he gets bodied out of the way.
That was a great job from St. Clair, and that's, oh my god, dude. Fabso does it again. Third shot, second goal, only goals made for St. Clair in this game number 3. And that is going to land. 51 seconds now. Missouri's still in this. Stop freaking out, Monkey Man. Missouri still has an opportunity, okay? Calm down. I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right. Look, I was already calling the scholarship department. I started talking about students, saying, "All right, what you got going on here? About 40 seconds to go. Still plenty of time for these athletes to be able to bring it forward and earn their right." Bubs, they have to climb this ladder. I feel like they've been missing just someone get a milk carton, put their face on it, see if they can go and get them, because they had a moment before where they could have been there defensively. But the Tigers, they've got to get going. Bubs showing up. Where's the second man for the shot? It'll come up wide.
Zodia West right there had plenty of time to correct the angle at which he wanted to come in, at which they wanted to come in at this ball. Correction does not get made, only puts it against the back, and St. Clair is perfectly willing to play a little backboard patty cake with this ball for the 5 seconds. Down bottom, Fatal's going to get this out, but Bubs is right here. There's 3 different members right here. Okay, Fabso making me sweat that one. 2-1 right here, and I gotta say, game 1 and game 3 seems a little bit more indicative of what these two teams have to bring to the Rocket League pitch here, right? It kind of seems like that 4-1 in game number 2 was a little bit more of a fluke.
Yeah, that's very true. I felt like this wasn't at all super separated. Even for that game number 2 that, the score line obviously was. You had like a big sprint to the finish. It was much closer through at least that 2 to 3 minute mark, but it's again playing through the entirety of that 5 minutes. I felt like this one kind of fell flat for the side of the Tigers. St. Clair was just kind of owning from that mid-layer zone, even from like a little bit back into their own, and just kind of reflexing, moving forward. Now we had that late-term flare-up, Bubs showcasing that it's never done until the ball's on the ground with 0 seconds on the clock. So a little bit of a scare, but even then, it's just a little bit of a scare. And both the scores the Saints got, Fabso just went up and down the pitch to go and get it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's frequently what you just got to do. You gotta cover more of this pitch than your opponents, and so frequently that will result in just that again that tiny little difference between these two teams. It'll go forth and yield a W. Two of these games. Wait, excuse me. So of the 9 games we have seen on broadcast here for the day, we have one that was not decided by a single score difference. I'm not sure what more you would want out of a scholastic organization that comes forth and puts together esports competitions for collegiate members. Fantastic stuff. We're looking at game number 4 right here, as we are looking at match point, of course. St. Clair is able to do it in 1, 2, and 3 here. The reverse sweep will be necessary for the Missouri Tigers if they want to chalk up a W in the left side of the column.
St. Clair only dropped 4 games in the regular portion of their season in 7 matches. It was D2, so they were all best of 7. That's quite the task. Can they replicate? Can they multiply? Can they simply do it again going into D1? The welcoming party of Mizzou, it was feisty and it was fierce. Game number 1 was crazy fast, and you're already seeing St. Clair trying to put the finishing touches here in this first minute of play with some of these passing plays.
Maybe this is just a little bit of a situation of like beginning of semester play. Like obviously these are Rocket League players. They've been grinding throughout the break. They've been grinding even before, in January this year and stuff like that, and outside of collegiate competitions, right? But maybe it's not so much about them as much. Maybe it's just that the level of competition. Ooh, that's bouncing in. No, it's not. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I think that just goes towards my point. Maybe it's not that the St. Clair Saints have like gotten worse or anything else like that, because again, only lost 6 games last semester. Of course, they didn't lose any of these games so far, but 2 of them have been one-scored games against a squad that finished 7th last semester. Excuse me. I really just think that it's the rest of the D1 squads within the NECC have just simply gotten better. It's nothing to do with the St. Clair Saints and them getting worse by any means, or they're like their team network not working or anything else like that anymore.
This is also a team that I feel like might have needed to be here in the first place. Definitely
Fair.
trying to say that they've earned it because of having such a dominant foray into that D2 championship. The first 100 seconds eventually goes. That's a double commit, looking for the double Dutch dunk, and they land it so smooth.
Fantastic stuff right there. About minute 45 into this one, Fabso going to be the defining factor for the St. Clair Saints Gold Squad yet again. Given that it's Fabso, can't be super surprised. Christian has gotten involved there plenty. Fatal has played much more of a middle position here, kind of always setting up passes or taking away offensive opportunities from the other player without actually being the first player in the box.
Frostbite trying to win this as well. And St. Clair, I feel like they've definitely come to play. And you've talked about it before, especially kind of going from that D1 into or D2 into D1. We've seen that work and over so many different sports as well. You just see teams that elevate to that next position and have to meet those expectations. And St. Clair definitely has a lot they want to prove going into the season. They have a lot of legacy that's in their program in the first place, but there's still the Mizzou Tigers only down 1. They've been fighting the good fight, and they've kept this one close, save 1 game. Big beat, Fatal trying to win it on the street, and Fabso starts to move upfield to threaten.
Ooh, that was another dangerous situation. I talked about Fatal getting involved. Nope. Gonna get it taken away right in front of net. 3 attempted shots right now, though, and that's barely past half time, Monkey Man. I'm gonna say that's the at least the efforts out of Fatal that we were kind of asking for in between that game 3 and now this game 4.
Yeah, Fatal has been kind of that 1-2 combination player that goes alongside with both Christian as well as Fabso. Fabsos find themselves a lot of individual play. Look how just slowly they're letting that one go all the way back. They're trying to bait and are effectively doing so against these Tigers. Mizzou winning a 50-50. Frostbite doesn't have anything left in the tank. Even if they get that one upfield, you get a ceiling reset out of Exodia, who has been much more active. Bubs, or rather Frostbite, gets that second ceiling reset just to give a chance for anyone as well as themselves. They're gonna have a pitch and catch, but Fatal's just kind of there, and you're seeing one-touch offenses. Oh, wow. Exodia!
There you go. Hey, we were talking about Exodia West trying to get involved in the offense. You're talking about Fatal trying to get involved in the offense. Well, Fatal's got at least 3 shots attempted, and there's Exodia West's goal for a tying factor. 84 seconds away from the end of this game number 4.
the slightest little mistake, and that was just a kind of a mishandle on the back line. They actually went for a fake out as well. Mizzou wants to start with some offense, and they want to get that from the possess straight up. Oh, what a fake out. Bubs wins it through a bulldozer, and then the no boost warrior, that is Exodia. Can he find another one? That's going to be a soft shot. It goes crossbar and out. What a save.
Frostbite shot right there, just melts on the vine. Down bottom is Fabso, tries to get this across the mid pitch and in. Very little boost to speak of. Wow, okay, almost walks the dog in all the way and does. No, excuse me, Christian gonna finish this one up. I thought that was gonna be kind of an own goal situation. There's 1, 2, 3 Missouri Tigers right here, all trying to make a play on ball.
Oh, that hurts if you are Mizzou. Yeah, because Fabso, he slowed it down. There's nothing you can really do, not knowing if he doesn't have a lot of boost, and even by the time you realize, now you can't exactly just kind of take your regular turns and rotations. That first touch, sure. Second one had a double commit, so the Tigers caught now with their tails being tied. Bubs is going to have that corner boost steal. Frostbite has to jump away, and Christian just needs to win a one-on-one, and they will take that corner boost, and now that means the defense is lacking.
Down bottom, that's an own goal, is it not?
I think it might have been a deflection.
Christian
Let's see.
brings this back down, nose on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
unfortunate.
Dunks straight onto Bubs.
Yep. Right on the front. I mean, Bubs is there. Bubs has to come forward and try and make a play. There's 30 seconds right here. You got to block this away, get in the offense immediately. Still totally possible here for Missouri, but they're pretty much going to have to take away this ball. Either Exodia or Frostbite has to take this. Now they do. A bouncing ball is Fatal, sends it the other way. Decently centered. Teammate might be able to get to it. Is not. And now with only 12 seconds left, I think there's just not enough sand in the hourglass.
Yeah, Bubs that's looking for this one to fall in the perfect moment, but Frostbite is a step too far up, and that'll do it. St. Clair Saints welcomed into Division 1. They will take a 4-0 sweep. That's a great first step to try and match the performance they had in D2 last season.
Oh, yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. Well, not going to get a whole lot of the stats from those players on the last. We know that St. Clair won in 3-1 fashion. Very could have easily been a 2-1 scoreline in the last game right here. This was Missouri that, again, more so than in that game 2, kitchen sink, everything else. So in the offense, defense can play by the wayside for as of right now because we need to try and get a score right now to bring this back to a tie game, excuse me. And that is the situation off of which St. Clair was able to get that third score, the open net. As it is, Christian Fabso Fatal putting together a fantastic performance right here. But I gotta say, maybe not as good as we thought it was going to be. Yes, it was a 4-0, excuse me. But 2 of these going down to 1 score differences, and game number 1 going to an overtime performance, Monkey Man.
Yeah, that showed that out the gate the Tigers have at least putting in the work, the grind through the winter, through the holiday break, be it whatever it was, and they've been able to improve. And this also speaks to the odes of what they did in that previous fall semester. I feel like that there's so much that's left on the table, but you had those minor miscues. Obviously, they got contracted all the way into their defensive box, and there just were moments where St. Clair corralled them when they wanted to break out, and they really weren't able to kind of keep their mental in for the latter portion of those games. Weird as it might sound, that game number 1 was kind of a backbreaker. They wanted that opening win. They had some great moments. They had the craziest angle that, it's February 6th. Mark it on your calendars. Best angle goal that we've ever seen on the pit, at least for the start of the season. So, they've got to be able to replicate that if they want to be able to take some of these series. They don't want to have another finish, and that like they did in the fall. Got to find a way to right this ship right now.
Yeah, like this is just week 1, so if you're the Tigers, you shouldn't feel that bad about it. But the way in which they started out, like they have to know, right? They have to know that this squad only lost 6 games, right? 6 games last semester with, you said 2 of them in the grand finals as well, right? So only 4 in the regular season. Yeah, like when you're getting that close to that situation, it's just like there's a little bit more of that anxiety, a little bit more of that performance like edge that you just really want to go forth and get it done. And I think you might have a point right there. The Tigers may have just lost a little bit of that edge coming off of that game 1 loss. Like if this was like a 4-0 and then they bring it back to overtime, like okay, that's a little bit of a different story. Like we've got to know this squad. We've taken what we've learned from game number 1 and now we're putting to game number 2. But instead it's just like, oh, right off the bat we played 4.5 minutes of Rocket League and now we're going going overtime, right? But at the end of the day, that might be me just theory crafting as far as what's going through the heads of these three players, Frostbite, Bubs, and Exodia. What I know to be true is that they've taken one loss across 1 week of Rocket League here for the semester. Go forth. Plenty of semester and plenty of games in front of you. Go forth. I know this is a squad that is destined for the postseason.
Very much. This is a team that has a big chance, and you guys have a big chance to be able to match their kind of performance. How about some G Fuel? NECC 20 will be able to get you a nice bit of maybe a discount, but also just love over to NECC, as well as Winslow Farms. There's a guy that literally fell down a mountain and ate some sausage and survived. So make sure to check out our awesome partners and just our people that are able to support all of this collegiate scene. As we go into a break, we've got one more match remaining. It's Div 3 action. Blue Gold making their NECC debut against the University of Minnesota. Be with us right after this.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
All I seek to find is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Following the lights of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me. All I seek to find is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Following the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. You were the calm to my storm. You could take the wind, and though the winds stood calm, weighing on our shoulders, these the ice could never break us in. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve.
I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. But what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Welcome back, everyone, to NECC Rocket League time. Week 1 action has been pretty darn good so far, and of course, we've been having all of you witnessing it in real time. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside FBI Tugboat. Tugboat, we're at the last match of the evening. We go to not D1, not D2, but a D3 matchup, and you know, state lines and rivalries. Kind of a big deal. Maybe not your regular one, but we've got Minnesota and Wisconsin. Eau Claire. There seems to be so much heat up north between those two states, I swear.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We got the Blue Gold squad, Blue Gold Esports out of Wisconsin, Blue Gold Esports varsity squad taking on the Golden Gophers out of the University of Minnesota. Now, this will be the Blue Gold's first semester within the NECC. Let us welcome Hot Shot, Anamus, and Colonel here for the Blue Gold Esports University squad, Monkey Man.
And on the side of the Golden Gophers, they got Rad, CFN, and Warpie. This is also a Blue Gold squad that competed and made top 8 going into their Northwest Regional in the Wisconsin Esports Conference. I got to see a lot of the teams that are up there, and so apparently Wisconsin do be rolling deep in some esports. But Minnesota, this is a team that I feel like has a lot to prove, not from a poor performance in the fall, but actually one of the best performances. They were #1 in their division. They went 6-1, were the #1 seed, and then came up short immediately. Round #1, they went 0-3 against Robert Morris, and it's not a double elimination bracket in Div 3. You have one chance, single elim, and that was the end of their run. So you got to feel like there's some performance and wanted to really be kind of redone, remodeled, and really renewed going into the spring.
Yeah, they're going to be hungry for a new opportunity here, Monkey Man, to go forth, prove themselves here with the winter semester of 2025. New semester, new me, week 1. Let's get it in. We've already had 2 fantastic competitions thus far between Oklahoma Christian University and Davenport, Mizzou, and Toronto, or the school out of Toronto, excuse me. That is the St. Clair Saints Gold Squad. Let's get it going here between Blue Gold, University of Minnesota. Best of 5 here as well, just in case you missed it earlier, folks. D1, D2, we're going to be best of 7s. D3 and below within the great NECC, going to be best of 5s.
I also appreciate our awesome producer Chippy for making blue gold on blue. That's perfect. And blue gold nearly on the mark as well. They come up a bar short as Colonel and Anamus have to bail out. And it looks like it's going to be put right back by Hot Shot. And the Golden Gophers under fire here early.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. The newcomers, new kids on the block here from Blue Gold, anything but that, as they show some early aggression. Now, this is a slow roller. Is that going inside? My goodness. Rad, CFN, and Pi going to strike first. It's specifically Rad from CFN to set this one up, a weird angle. And as slow as that one was, and impressive and impactful, right, for a score here in game #1, was as fast as the other pinch against the wall in the previous game was there for Missouri. That was Frostbite that got that done earlier, right?
Yeah, it was, and that's funny how that is literally the same speed. I guess airtime really kind of takes it down and creates a lot of drag. So the floor just as gravitationally inclined. Hot Shot takes away a would-be shot from Anamus, and so you can see Blue Gold kind of finding the rotations a little bit lacking, and just trying to separate themselves if possible. Hot Shot will rise above. And they've been looking for a chance to maybe take on these 1v1 isolation style plays. And Amos is going to turn all the way back around. Great navigation. A lot of demos traded between both teams. I think I saw 3 in the last 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. It's like they're driving across a minefield right now, not a virtual Rocket League pitch, Monkey Man. 90 seconds into this one, the Gophers have been able to find one, but really Blue Gold's problems, really the last 60 seconds or so, just simply getting this ball out of their side of the pitch, really. Now that is a fantastic shot, stretching it, and Hot Shot's going to land this one. Second shot attempted, first goal made here for Blue Gold in this game, in this week, and for the program, right?
Yeah, able to find that first. That's how you showcase that you're here to play. They were already doing so at the beginning of the game, and now Blue Gold has their first ever program recorded goal on target and in the back of the net for NECC. So that to tick that one off. 3:05 left to go here for both these Div 3 squads. And again, instead of it being BO7 like we get up in D1 and D2, we have BO5. So this first game still is a tone setter, looking for trends to be set into game number 2, but there's a lot more promise and a lot more playing for keeps here in this first game.
Yeah, a lot less wiggle room, Monkey Man, right?
Ooh.
Wow, my goodness. Speaking of wiggle room, how about a shake and bake from Pie down low? Doesn't have to be a triple reset, flip, musky dunk inside. Just Pie kind of cutting the angle right here, right inside in Namus.
Make sure whenever you guys hit your clips, make it the musky Dunkin' Pie. You guys can get that one from Tugboat. And yeah, no, it does not need to be fancy. It just needs to be effective. And the efficacy coming out of the Gophers half has really been kind of stalwart. That is going to be swift. Hotshot steals it from the perimeter, and we're tied up just as quickly.
Let's get it. Hey, NECC performance for Blue Gold University. If you missed it earlier, here's another one from Hotshot. Goals number 1 and 2 for the program within the NECC. I'm going to stop recording after this one, promise, guys. I just think it's a cool little stat.
You know what? Keep recording. Someone's got to be a stat keeper out there. Maybe you can find that one over on our legal list or otherwise.
1,171st goal for Blue Gold University.
Up and down your entire career. Oh, this was a free ball, just kind of loosely played up there. Colonel will have kind of a soft whip. They didn't have much boost, and then they get collided. Little kiss on the face here by a teammate. Quick high five, if you will. And Amos runs across from it. Back pass into Colonel. That's a heck of a play as they use it to stretch out this field.
Back the other way, speaking of a stretched field. Hotshot down low, gonna require a duo effort out of Blue Gold University right there. Pie sends this down low to Colonel. Last player back, should get a solid clear right here, but CFN causing the 50 with the Namus, and there's Colonel losing their respective. CFN with a hot shot. Nicely done. That's 2 saves right there.
Took 2 of them, and then a quick counter play. They are ringing the bell, and no, it's not from the church. They're still praying that they can get from beyond the pipelines, though. And as those hexagons have been squarely punched in and around, and they do it from every point of the perimeter here, Tugboat. A minute to go, we could come down to just one backline play to really set the tone and separation between these two squads. And no, you do not need a magnifying glass to see that name. Simply, the Golden Gophers out of University of Minnesota have been weathering the storm by Blue Gold.
It's some small font up there, isn't it? Pie right here. Switching on over to CFN. Still going to be waiting in the wings and kind of hanging out in this net for any ensuing offensive onslaughts. Okay, so a little back and forth right there. Honestly, that was Blue Gold just trying to decide their offensive positioning more than anything. Nothing really comes of their decision. And now all going their way of the pitch. Big clear here from Colonel. That's going to be met with a demo on the other side. Pie finding that one. We're just outside of overtime. We got it in the last match. Why not get in this one? Why not us?
we've seen a collective of overtimes so far. Not too many in a row. Hotshot's gonna have one extra chance, and Colonel went all the way back. It was actually a Namus and Colonel that didn't know who was kind of rotating forward. You did see Blue Gold. Their rotation has suffered a couple times. They've been able to find at least some perimeter plays that have paid off and kept themselves even. And for their first ever game here with NECC, we hit that good old OT. Can the Golden Gophers bust out over Blue Gold?
Ooh, that's a bad twist right there. Pie quickly covering up what could have been a dangerous ball. Colonel off the wall right here, but no boost to be spoken of as Rad sends his way back the other way. That was almost free. No, they jumped just a quarter second, maybe Monkey Man too soon.
Had the old stopwatch on it. Pie. Another setup. Got Coach Tugboat waiting to really kind of test in time all the Gophers, as Pie will have to drag their way backwards. A great reception that gives it immediately to a teammate. CFN just pounds that one downfield, and Colonel will allow this pitch to kind of be set to the opposite end. That as a 150-50, and Golden Gophers are seeing this one kind of one on the ground and then through the sky. CFN has a chance depending on how Hotshot feels this. They had to come low with it.
And came low. No devastating blow though. Colonel Colonel just kind of hanging out looking for any kind of boost. That corner has been just absolutely robbed by University of Minnesota. It's not something we've talked about too much as just the resource now. There's another corner. I have to wait another few seconds for that one to come back. 90 seconds here into halftime, the boost battle being won. And if they get there, I was going to say if they get there, that's just going to be off the back of everybody over on the University of Minnesota having way more in the tank for the past 20 seconds or so than Blue Gold has.
Yeah, Hotshot is the only one that has any. They've gotten now this back right corner boost twice in a row, and that was after Minnesota has stolen everything else. Oh, fake out. Colonel did go high. They couldn't adjust because they've been lacking some resources. Hotshot does not find a touch, and this is going to put Colonel in a bad situation, but a Namus comes through just long enough to find that one upwards. So 2 minutes, and it's the Gophers that were really bringing the hammer, bringing the axe down into some Wisconsin-Eau Claire territory, but Blue Gold survives as they start to move upfield.
Solid hit right there from Rad. Actually gets a little bit of an assistance there from the defender who's just trying to take it away. And Namus sends this into a dangerous corner. Rad was trying to come up at this one in a wise decision that they did not. Pie, last second block right there. And a fantastic defensive effort as we now have another half of a Rocket League game played in overtime.
Namus is going to bring it across the arch. Wanted to give it to Hotshot, and Colonel again does not have anything in the form of boost, but a Namus! Wow! Great follow from the backboard on down.
There you go. 3 shots, a save, and a goal here for a Namus in the first Blue Gold University performance here within the NECC. They're going to finish in an overtime situation 3-2 right there as Blue Gold puts a solid foot forward in this best-of-5 series.
Felt like there was moments, especially early on in this overtime here, Tugboat, where Golden Gophers could have put it away. 10 shots for Blue Gold Varsity, but it felt like so much was poured on by Minnesota. They just couldn't get beyond even a boostless defense who was surviving long enough in the corners. Blue Gold in their opening debut here with NECC finds their first game, and really showcasing what allowed them to challenge the top of the stack in the great state of Wisconsin. So hey, you know what? Did Minnesota just kind of leave too much behind? Were they just not really kind of too focused to finish out that game?
I really feel like individually, there was the one play that I kind of pointed out right there from Pi that they just jumped a quarter second too soon, going a little bit too fast at this ball. That should have been the end right there, and there would have ended for the Golden Gophers within regular time. But there were multiple situations, especially after the first 30 seconds of overtime or so, that the Golden Gophers looked like a little pensive to actually get aggressive with these balls and try and form up something significant. I'm not saying leave everybody in one side of the pitch and leave your net open by any means, but just get a little bit more aggressive with that. Whether that's just cutting the balls a little bit quicker, whether that's demos, whether that's cutting away and trying to intercept these balls and passes from the other squad, just go forth and get it done. I think a lot of times Blue Gold has just let their wings open a little bit too much. They were just given a little bit too much wiggle room and went forth, and that's going to be enough. Well, there's some aggression from the University of Minnesota early as the Golden Gophers pop their heads out the holes and find a goal.
Oh, and Namus just couldn't quite twist and turn the right way to see that bouncing ball. No one ever is able to field those too cleanly. And, talk about clean. This is actually a team that, their names are a little bit longer if you look at them on the sheet, but Golden Gophers all just got 3 letters. They wanted to be uniform, and that's how they're playing, at least when it comes to having these moments in front of the blue-gold net. But maybe they were pensive, and maybe they were reluctant to go and finish off some of the game because they've seen counterplay be effective out of Blue Gold. And they was trying to set up something just like that here, and Hotshot just has to go high with it.
Yeah, and so now it's Pie down bottom, a bouncing ball. Rad, thankful that they are there, quickly responds to this one. Now Namus having an otter hit off the back. That's going to get taken away, then they're going to get demoed. Hotshot tries to play this down to the middle of the pitch and keep it for the squad, as we see how successful that effort was, unfortunately. CFN twisting up to this, but just doesn't get there. Pie taking the rebound, tries to take it off the wall, not going to happen. Rad puts a shot up against backboard that's way too high and way too long for anybody from the Golden Gophers to really make a play on. Everybody on the blue-gold side was pretty well set up after that, and perhaps it's a little bit of what I was talking about, just a little bit more get to the ball.
This is also a team that's completely set from the
There
floor. This was burning through resources for Blue Gold. Minnesota knew that they were winning the macro game. Stretch them wide, stretch them far, forced them to go to that backboard, and every time Blue Gold was responding, they were burning through boost that was again being thieved in the night by these golden gophers, little adorable golden bandits with their, you know, their masks and all, taking that boost away.
Committing larceny in the night. You make it sound so nefarious. I like it. I like it. And NECC taking possession there, tries to give it on over, and that's going to be really, really happy for the Blue Gold squad. This wasn't centered up. All three members up in the offensive side. I don't even think there's anybody in this third of the pitch.
He's trying to again just be here in this corner. They're gonna get not just a demo, but a shot opportunity to kind of lay up. No one between Rad and Pi. They're like, you, me, no. but because they're both there, and Blue Gold knows that they have had not a lot of boost. They stayed back, even with that slowly dropping. It feels like Blue Gold is kind of being just slowly put to sleep. Hotshot wants this double touch, and now finally you get Blue Gold into more orange grasses.
Yeah, and honestly, the fact of the matter is that the same situation boost-wise than we saw the opposite situation earlier. CFN's the only one with more than like 30 boosts right now, and no one can really skid out to the right side to pick that one up. They're not going to need to. A huge clear in NECC. Okay, not a lot of boost to be spoken of, not a lot to be needed given that one made connection with the ground.
That was a great just read. They went up to that backboard, recognizing that they could maintain speed and then find that connection, as no one from Blue Gold was fast enough to meet them. Hotshot's going to catch this one. Does get challenged. That's going to be from low, looking for a bump, and that's a free net. And a NECC will find one as they get every one of the Gophers to eventually vacate.
This only happens because of the bump right there from, I think, Hotshot or possibly Colonel. I believe that was... I believe that was Hotshot down there. It doesn't matter. Point is, they just get a tiny little bump against the defending player, and there's nobody back to block and NECC afterwards. Even though if that was like kind of murky situations, like, hey, who should really be playing on this? Because the ball is kicked towards the middle with like 4 players between the two teams, like kind of grouped up on the left side. It's gonna be enough for NECC to take this back to a 1-score difference.
And then with less than 2 minutes to go, Blue Gold, even though they've been in kind of worse spots, they have not suffered too much damage, as they've limited that to just only the 2, splitting the difference between that. And NECC has really been making a name for himself, was wanting a better connection. Hotshot will come in through anyway, and all of a sudden, what was a sleeper here, Tugboat, is tied up again.
Yeah, how did this exactly happen? I'm curious. Okay, Hotshot just goes literally just like straight up in the air. Just their best like pole impersonation just goes straight to the ceiling, right? And that was perfectly positioned, perfectly slotted, and right down the middle. 100 seconds left to go here, and I mean Blue Gold's on a 2. I mean, this was the Golden Gophers on a 2-goal run. Well, that's Blue Gold saying, hey, we can do that same thing, and almost a 3-goal run. Hotshot forcing this one down bottom and requiring a quick reaction from the Golden Gophers defense.
Luckily for Minnesota, they've got Psychic as a means, and wait, no one's sticking around. I was gonna say that they had Clairvoyancy as a major bachelor, but instead it literally is just being brave, standing strong, and no one sticking around for Blue Gold. I thought that they would have someone sweeping the line. Unfortunate for them, they could have had that 3 in a row. Rad wants to get something at least propelled into this back corner. I love the undercut there to continue at Blue Gold. Hotshot's in chase. He might find the double. That's going to go sealing out in Blue. Oh my goodness, that one will go a bit too wide out of Colonel.
Hotshot's like a little bit farther back towards the net. All they have to do is just jump backwards and angle this one on the inside. Just a little tipper to make the goal. CFN, okay, that's a decent angle, and NECC is going to be happy that they're there and with a lot of boosts to be spoken of. Pi puts this one back to the mid-pitch as of right now. Colonel turning forward, gets it over Rad. Pi, last player back. Another hit, but this is just going to send this one loftwards instead of kind of lower and towards this goal. We're hanging out. We're dialing up another overtime.
Tale of two halves, the way that these teams have been playing. Rad is trying to get very physical. They came screaming in. You could hear the breath off of Tugboat as well as from the car, because that one was oh so close for Rad, finding themselves a hero's moment. CFN is at least traversing nearby. Hotshot kept that alive in his own half. That could be detrimental depending on what turns around from this corner. Rad will at least look for a chance, but eventually Blue Gold slaps it to the grass. Yep, 2 overtimes in a row.
2 OTs in a row. Will this go Blue Gold again? That is the question. Now, NECC taking this off the Top post, now back to mid-pitch or so, trying to cover this one up. Now, Hotshot will be back. Great job reading that out of CFN. That was just going to be a very simple redirect, and that one is another just very simple redirect, Monkey Man. CFN right here, Hotshot would have liked this to have been a better angle off the corner and kind of come farther out, as it is just a rebound and going to be one of the easier goals of Pi's career.
And that's actually easier because the second touch off of the block that was that hot redirect into the corner, Rad decided backboard first instead of direct shot because the defender was there, and then Pi was there to be able to finish it. Everyone getting a goal. We've got 9 shots between them. CFN was trying to bring the heat, and I mean, blue gold now. All right, so they've been welcomed into the Thunderdome. They got that first game win, 4 saves out of Colonel. But there needs to be some method to the madness walking into game number 3, as we now have a game 1 on either side.
Yes, so tied series right here, both of overtime situations as well. I got to see a little bit more of an even-handed distribution of defensive plays here for the blue-gold side. Colonel with 4, 2 teammates, Hotshot and Amos with 0 right there. It tells me that these roles have kind of been relegated a little bit, and if this is a University of Minnesota Golden Gopher squad that has not sniffed this out so far, especially if they do it again in the game 3, then it will be sniffed, and it's something that's going to be easy to capitalize upon.
I feel like there's another kind of side and extension to that narrative too, because they were under such a duress. It was the same kind of boost stealing feature that we got out of the Gophers in that first game, and the way that they were able to, still on the side of blue gold survive to go to that overtime in game number 3. And Namus though was able to get them moving forward. That definitely was a player that we said the name thereof a lot more often in the latter portion of game number 2, and why they had opportunities like that. You know what? Sometimes you kind of get into a third man role. It ended up being Colonel with 4 saves defensively, where they were just kind of last man on, like gasping for breath. We're like, okay, no boost, no problem, guys. Just see what I can do.
Yep, I'll just double jump as best I can in front of net and hope for the best. Game 3 coming up right here, as this best of 5 has essentially been boiled down to a best of 3. Whoever takes the next 2 games, whichever way they come, in the next game, next 2, next 3, however they come, will be taking it down here for the series in week 1, the NECC Rocket League here within Division 3. Individual player that I'm looking to see pop off, maybe CFN over here for the University of Minnesota. We've seen Rad, we've seen Pi do some amazing things on offense. Maybe seeing CFN get a little bit more involved, more so than just passes. Perhaps be the recipe for success for the Golden Gophers.
I'm kind of looking at Hotshot. I know that Anamus has been really, really good for blue gold, but Hotshot feels like he kind of comes in a bit wild. If they can control some of that, they might be able to really secure a lot more goals, because they have been really getting up to these higher standards of what the Gophers have been putting down. Rad is such a great utility player as well for Minnesota. I feel like he's been involved alongside CFN and Pi every time, but we will see this first minute of play. Remember, this is now going to be match point unlock territory. Both these teams want to be the first to grab it.
No, they really, really want to be. Starting off that week 1 on the right foot here, Monkey Man. Pi tries to interrupt this and does. It's a decent angle for them, but Hotshot's going to easily cover this one up. Technically, going to be a save right there, as that trajectory was true and had to be interrupted one way or the other. Pi, another offensive opportunity, but then Namus kicks this off the backboard and sends it a-flying.
Colonel's going to collect. He's going to have at least a chance, unless that goes uncovered, and that's just a boom. It will go bar and down and out, luckily for the Gophers, as Minnesota starts to try and trek their way out. Now, CFN is playing the long con game. I think they've discovered that he has no boost, so eventually that just falls into kind of, calmer waters. As we've seen a trade of some demos, nothing really effectively setting anything up yet.
No, not really. We saw more clean passing plays that yielded in points from both of these teams, not just the Golden Gophers, in the past 2 games, really. And now it seems, since there's not been anything like off a kickoff, and then not anything in the first 90 seconds or so, we kind of see what we've seen in previous series, like you and I have casters have seen many times before, which is just a super slowing down of the momentum on both sides, right? There's not really close calls. There's not. Okay, I was going to say that shouldn't have been. It looks like they were shifting back forward, and they do. But again, passes that aren't really going many places outside of just keep away from the other squad, right? There's no high percentage pass, no high risks taken from either of these squads, because no one wants to really break that seal.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to kind of drop it into a zone and see if a double commit eventually manifests, and they are then, you know, putting some stretch line shots to this net. You had one crossing again. It ends up being challenged enough to move out defensively, and we've already moved past the entire halfway mark here of game number 3. Great undercut. That's going to redirect. They do delete Rad, who 2 separate times has been caught out as that third man, and yet it has been kind of a slightly inaccurate shot. Hot shot will stretch to this again, and look, he's already trying to bear down upon Rad. It's just slowing down the game, but also playing for who will make that first mistake.
And it's just slow, methodical Rocket League. And this game's going to feel like it's over in just a second because there's no pauses for scores so far. That's the first real shot that Blue Gold has put onto this net in a minute and a half, maybe even 2 full ones. We'll see. Now, Pi sends this one back for the teammate. Hot shot. No, that's a bad angle. They realize it and play it again off the backboard. Fantastic job.
Sometimes purposely missing your own net and doubling it away is just the best way. Rad is going to vacate. Now they're going to be an option if they can sweep it through, but no one has broken the stalemate so far. And Amos doesn't have any boost to really make me believe that that's going to happen here in this moment. And Amos, you're starting to see 2/3 of the Blue Gold without a lot of boost. They have to retreat, so they will at least leave that front right corner gap for Minnesota to work through. Colonel, they play so deep into that third. They let Hot Shot as well as Amos work more to that second position, so you don't have that second touch effort. So they got to land that first and be lethal 70 seconds right now. And I mean, Tugboat, I don't know who's going to take this maybe final shot unless it'll be an OT.
Not sure either. It feels like an OT, maybe a little bit of a breakaway, but just like the rest of this other 4 minutes, the University of Minnesota, even if they give up possession for a second, just immediately a break. Okay, everybody, alarm, like I said, the 3 alarm bells or 5 alarm bells or whatever it is, right? Get back to goal right now. They cover it up, and they have been on the offense for a little while, but that's another block. Will that be? It is CFN with a double effort. My, oh my, now that's some offense we've been looking for. And another one, CFN, 3 saves. Pi coming up for it, finally getting involved in the save game.
Oh my gosh. All right. So they're starting to finally pour it on. Everyone's tired of just not getting the scoreboard to light up. This has been a long running clock. 5 straight minutes possibly of Rocket League with no slowing down. Everyone's taking their deepest breath. Colonel to anyone. CFN, who has been a hero on the goal line, will take the corner boost, looking for a chance. They set up Pi. Pi gets bodied by Hot Shot, and now Blue Gold's under fire. They will bring this to the floor. And we go overtime for the 3rd straight time.
3rd time in a row. If you didn't hear Monkey Man right, folks. Crazy stuff. Colonel tries to get this off of kickoff. Efforts are for naught. Sends us back. And Amos, CFN's going to have to escort this one on farther than that. That was pretty dangerous for about a half of a second. Wise decision to get this cleared and out. 50 over to the left side. CFN able to pick this one up. That was actually a bad angle and did nothing more than to help the trajectory. Hot Shot forced the hand right there, and they're going to quickly snap to defensive save.
Tough catch and go right there, but that was a great reaction by the defense out of Blue Gold. They're going to try and set up at least a layup into the top of the box, but Colonel is now in a 1v3. Oh no, he's being surrounded. They do get rid of at least one, and Amos was the one that got demoed, but that ends up taking away the option from the other side of the box where the ball got cleared to. So Minnesota doesn't come up, but they still won't come out of this blue half until something gets shot on. Hot Shot going into enemy territory. We'll leave it to Colonel. Can he find this direct angle? He's trying to lay it up for any teammate. Colonel had a ghost of a chance, but we go back to neutral.
Back to neutral we go. Rad, plenty of boost. CFN does not, so tries to get this on over and gets nothing more than demolished for their efforts. Hot Shot, he's got a decent one on center. Pi plays it. That's going to be dangerous, and that's inside. And Amos takes another one here for Blue Gold. A 1-0 game in overtime for the Blue Gold squad. University of Minnesota going to be, they drop one more game. They're out of this match.
And that was a kind of a mix-up between Pi and CFN on that back line. You see, I think it was Pi that took it early. They were the one coming in from that near side post and kind of that second man. The third was all the way to the back. But look at the difference here of saves versus shots. 13 shots out of Blue Gold. Just the 3 out of Minnesota. Everyone all hands on deck to just simply hang on. for dear life. And Hotshot doing what they can from the back line, but everyone from Blue Gold was just trying to pour it on.
Yeah, I mean, you said Hotshot needed to stand up and stand out right here. Well, I'm going to say 6 shots, 3 saves, the only saves on their squad, and more saves than both their other 2 teammates, and twice as many shots attempted, shots attempted, than both of their teammates combined. Twice as many shots attempted as the entirety of the other squad. I would say that's Hotshot standing up and standing out, Monkey Man. I gotta say, it's been a while since I've seen a 0-0 game go to overtime. You know, been a while.
Yeah, they're weird ones because it feels both like chess match as well as dumping the board like halfway through the game. Like things are going but not getting accomplished, and we got to see that with a lot of offense versus a lot of defense. And the Gophers just, even though they had a triplicate of times, it was 3 in total, getting down the pitch, nothing really looked permeable for some better offense. And I think some of that was actually into overtime. So they don't want to live on that goal line. This is a team that was number 1 seed going into the playoffs. They came up short, but Hotshot, I called his number, and Blue Gold, they're calling him up too.
Wow. So a 7.5 minute drought of Rocket League scoring in the previous game, was finished by NECC, and this one, the 6-second drought, if you can call it that, of scoring happens and gets quickly sussed out. Okay, so Blue Gold Esports on match point. Up 1-0, 6 seconds into this game, number 4, possibly the last game right here. And University of Minnesota accrued all of 3 shots in the past. Oh no, it was 6.5 minutes, not 7.5 minutes. Excuse me. In that previous 6.5 minutes, and have not gotten one on this net so far. So not looking good for the Golden Gophers.
This is kind of looking very Big Ten like in the way they're playing double tight. Remember, this is a new Minnesota. They got to play. You got to play that speed ball. But right now, they're definitely trying to bring it to the ground, trying to just slow this thing down. But Blue Gold is going high, flying. CFN doing the same thing, off the nose, 1 extra touch, hoping for a flip reset. And NECC make sure that they don't have an extra effort, and away it is. That's a fantastic steal, and they force the Minnesota Gophers to reset and even take a shot of their own.
There you go. That's how you talk. I mean, being able to take possession of that was enough. Turning it into an offensive opportunity and getting their side of the pitch, fantastic. Actually getting a shot attempted that a defender had to come forth and block, and they're still the offensive third. Like, this has just been a slow trickle of just absolute domination shown from the side of Blue Gold Esports. You basically saw this play kind of come out here about 5 seconds before this replay started right here, right? Consistently, Blue Gold all over it, passing constantly. Minnesota members just floundering around looking for a boost and try and just make impact on the ball, whatever that is. Not a clear, not a pass to a teammate, not even necessarily a block, but just hit ball in any way you can. That's the kind of level of coordination versus just chaos that we kind of look for when we're trying to evaluate teams, and kind of is this team got it figured out? Well, I'd say Blue Gold does.
Yeah, their communication, especially when it's been kind of lackluster at times initially for their rotations, and especially the early games of this series, has really started to get polished. This is a squad that they came out of the Wisconsin Esports Conference and then elevating into NECC. They knew that they had to bring in not just some of the Eau Claire finest, but also some of the best to be able to take on a national sphere. So less than 3 minutes to go. Rad is going to fake them all out. Let it drop down over to Pie, and that's another player that actually has gone quiet for me. Rad was so useful in the previous couple of games, and now they've been minimized because every one of the Gophers has just been shut backwards onto this pitch.
Ooh, almost it right there, and one of the best offensive opportunities here for the University of Minnesota in this first half of this game number 4. Again, match point here for Blue Gold. NECC sends this flying to the right, tries to pick it up, but it's going to be Rad down bottom. A duo of Blue Gold members will meet it right there and make their best efforts in sending this back the other way. But a quick answer, NECC once again, that's about as high as you can get a ball to travel the entirety of a pitch.
Just stuck to the ceiling. It had some Gorilla tape onto it. Backboard play. Who's there? Defender Pie will be able to catch it. Hotshot will keep it aloft and was hoping to get it a bit further upfield to a NECC so he didn't have to retract. And Colonel at least now right behind it. He was hoping for a faster play. It becomes a 2v1. Pi does not get the pinch he wants, and Hotshot comes up with another fat 50. So with 140 on the clock here, Tugboat.
no.
Oh, CFN with
yeah.
a threat! Rad is able to get it at the goal line, so they're able to steal one.
After this happens, it should have been Rad if it wasn't CFN, right? Like that basically should have gone in after the double commit right there, and they have like, I'm going to say 20 boosts between the two of them, okay? Like, that's not a situation that should have arisen. Blue Gold, honestly, their first real mistake on defense, you can't be surprised when the Golden Gophers put one on the board out off the back of that one. 90 seconds to go right here. I also got to say, it looked like Blue Gold might have been transitioning to like a, hey, we're just going to play it back and kind of like field pitches, not let any goals in, not score anymore, but they were doing that in like 2 minutes, and that's just not something you can do outside of the last like 25 seconds or so. You know, like you don't want to give up the insurance goal. Well, you did that, and now you're only playing by one ahead.
I know you have a lead, but don't start running the ball in the third quarter. You've got to keep pressing it down. A minute coming up here for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Again, you got to dig deep. This is a team that has a lot to pursue and a lot to prove. Lackluster ending to what was a great fall semester, and now with the kickoff here in the spring, Rad wants to rise above. Can they get a flip reset? They do. They aim to get it through. CFN and Pi, they were very far back, and no one could be able to take the extra part of that attack. And Anamus is getting demos as quickly as you can see them.
Just headhunting right now. CFN, though, is a brick wall, and you shall not pass. Blue Gold University stays with a 1-goal advantage after a fantastic performance on the defensive side of the ball. Is that okay? Sorry. I thought that was centered.
That would have been wild. 15 seconds remaining, though. Colonel is just going to try and play off a 50. You see Rad on the other side of the pitch. CFN, he may be playing great defense, but offense is where Minnesota needs to live. They've got to get 1 goal, and they've got to get it fast, and there's an entire pitch to travel. It's a full triple commit. Can they get the corner? They do, but they can't make the read. Blue Gold will take their NECC debut 3-1 over the Golden Gophers.
Fantastic stuff, dude. Fantastic stuff. Was that 8 shots? 8 shots from Hot Shot.
Wow.
More than twice as much as his 2 teammates, more than the trio of players on the other side for the Golden Gophers. Crazy stuff. Hello and welcome, Blue Gold University, to the NECC. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. First 3 games. First 3 games, excuse me, Monkey Man. First 3 games go to overtime, and they take it down in game number 4.
You know what? They've been doing a lot of work for that program out of Blue Gold to play some Valorant, play some Overwatch, play some League of Legends. And, you know, they were like, you know what? We're letting our Rocket League team cook. We're going to let them simmer. We're going to let them have the best flavor before they join the NECC. And then in their first series, they go into the Golden Gophers. And you know what? What a task to take. Golden Gophers are going to have a lot of work and go into the war room, but Blue Gold comes out the better. Div 3 has got some big teams to have to deal with down there. But you and I, we got to deal with all the teams today. Big thoughts on our opening week of play here for some NECC Rocket League.
Yeah, here's an interesting stat for you guys. We had 2 best-of-7 series to start off the day, right? There were 3 overtime games. In those 2 best-of-7 series, we go to a best-of-5 series that doesn't even go the distance, only goes to game 4, same amount of overtime games. Is D3 better than D1? You tell me. You tell me. At least for the performance and what we get to see, what we get to broadcast and whatnot, cannot ask for anything more than close overtime games. They're generally low scoring. You don't get lower scoring than a 1-0 in overtime. Personally, my favorite Rocket League games, because it says that defenses are playing up to offenses. Because honestly, I mean, just look at the RLCS, right? Like how they use very, very frequently see like 2-1 games, 2-0s, 1-0, stuff like that. Lower scoring games indicative of high-level Rocket League. And hey, high-level Rocket League is where D1's teams live at. Might see Blue Gold, might see University of Minnesota up there soon.
Hey, you know what? Everyone's got a chance to improve and get that grind going, and that's exactly what we want to see across this semester. That's going to be it here for tonight. Remember, we've got more NECC action tomorrow. Overwatch will be unlocked, so make sure if you want to see NECC all week, I think it starts around 7 p.m. Eastern, so check them on out as we get so many titles working throughout this conference. Again, shout out over to Chippy, who was our awesome producer tonight, as well as Wenzel Farms, and if it rolls right back around to that marquee, we also got G Fuel. Yes, NECC 20. So put
There
that
you go.
code in and help out the NECC any way you can. Love you, Tugboat. As we again get to kick this one off next week for Rocket League, will be Captain Ahsoka as well as Bearlight, and maybe you guys coming back with us. But for tonight, that's all we got. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick.
I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach.
Just
Grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.